Hi, bud.
What's
Okay.
up, Eskimo?
Yeah, I know. It's getting a little crispier around here these days, so I got to pull out my head warmer. Even though I got enough fur all over my head, it's still nice to keep the ears warm.
If it makes you feel any better, we are in a cold front right now, so it's windy AF yesterday and part of today. Cooled down, well, died down, and it's still cool. But yeah, I've actually transitioned from my Dickies shorts to Dickies pants.
Oh, nice. The short dickies to the long dickies.
Yeah.
You got to know
So,
what you're talking about to get
I
that
mean,
joke.
you
But
know what? Um, well, I guess I was just up in Canada a couple of weekends ago, but here it's like, I just walked outside from the house to the shop, and it was just like the wind had finally died down. It was just like that nice, cool brisk where it's like, man, I just want to have like a nice fire out back. And dude, I had like, you could barely get into the shop. I've been collecting boxes, whether LMR, Amazon, all this shit. And it was literally to the point where, there's almost, I felt like a hoarder. And of course, burn ban on because we hadn't seen rain in so long and the wind and everything else. So I'm like, shit. So last night I had to buckle down and like chop up all the boxes, and then I brought them to the commercial shop, threw them in the dumpster because we don't recycle here in
oh,
Texas, right? Um, so now I don't even have anything to burn, but I still couldn't if I could. But yes,
yeah,
the weather is refreshing. It's just a comfortable working weather, I guess, is the best way to describe it.
it is that. And this is my favorite time of year too for standing around a fire.
Yeah.
Like it's just chilly enough that you got to rotate, right? You get a little hot on one side, cold on the other, you flip. Like this is primo beer drinking fire weather.
Yeah.
My favorite time both spring and fall. Like if a person could maintain this without getting any more ignorant in the cold side of things, this would be I quite honestly I would give away the extreme hot and the extreme cold to just hover around like 55, 60 year round.
See, I'd be more like 75, like Cali, I guess. That's like their one benefit. They're kind of
But
in that
that's
70s.
spoiled.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that's like paradise. But if you needed the temp for everything, right? So like hoodie
Yeah,
if
but
you're
your
just
paint's
kind of
not
hanging out.
curing. Your paint's not curing in 65.
Well, that's if you're working outdoors though. You got the indoors, right? But if for all the things that you want to do outside, right?
No,
You
because then your
can
pool, even your pool is too cold. You need to bump it up a little.
you think?
Yeah.
Like I'm trying I know you can't have like
65 at
Joe.
night, 60 degrees at night is good, but like you need 75, 80 during the day. Cause even then you need solar or pool heater or something. Cause like I'm a diva, dude. I need 80, 85 is even better in the pool.
See, but then 85, if you got to like hustle and do something outside, you're like, shit, this is too hot. But if you were like 60, 65,
You're not
you know what I
complaining,
mean?
but
You can maintain.
oh, I don't know. People are gonna have something to say there. Well, there, actually, I'm supposed to say this. My wife told me, you guys need to make sure you tell people that if they're enjoying your stuff to review and blah, 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 which I'm like, yeah, we did that one time because we knew that.
Yeah.
And then we like dropped the ball every other time since then. So,
One time in 180 episodes. Yeah.
yeah. So, by all means, folks, if you enjoy our podcasts, please do give us a 5.0 rating and
Yeah.
feel free to comment and do all that good stuff because it kind of goes into this stupid fucking hype button that we just learned about on YouTube via Martin Brothers there earlier today. We were chatting about it where this magical hype button that sometimes shows up, sometimes doesn't, but is like a game changer for YouTube video.
Yeah. Yeah. We should maybe talk a little bit about that because I think, well, for those out there that I guess like the cut of our jib and want to help in any little way that they can, I mean, there's this hypothetical hype button, HYPE. And Chris hit me up with it today. First time I'd ever heard of it. but he has now had some experience with it with this Martin Brothers video he did. I'll let you tell that story, but I did a little digging myself. Good old Chat GPT. God almighty, I can't believe I say that as much as I do, but I do. It explained it all, where YouTube, in their like overlord style, right? They say whether or not you can have this hype button. And if you do, and someone clicks on it, or a bunch of people click on it, for little channels like ours, it will essentially put them like up with the big boys, like the 500,000 subs and beyond. It will rank them up there with those guys. So the little channels have a chance to like get more views and be seen by more people or whatever. So if anybody sees that button, I haven't seen one yet, but apparently it's right by the like button on YouTube, and you click it and you get a little nitrous boost.
Yeah, I have to say, man, because I was at Martin Brothers on Monday, and Adam's like, dude, man, like this hype button, we need to talk about it. And, you know, when we're shooting today, and I'm like, what hype button? And he's like, I'm not going to lie. He's like, I've never seen it. Like, he's like, I had to Google it to see what it looked like. And he's like, apparently when people hit this hype button, you know, it gets, you know, past the traditional algorithm. And so like this video, rightfully so, I think in 4 days was 200,000 views. So I was like, okay, well, either people are really discovering Martin Brothers and the fact that they're on YouTube now, which that's the other thing, right? A lot of people know them as Iron Resurrection because that was the TV show name, even though, and that's weird, right? Like all these TV shows always had a show name, and then the business name was always something else, like Fast and Loud versus Gas Monkey, Iron Resurrection versus Martin Brothers. Maybe Orange County Choppers was Orange County Choppers, but Mob Steel versus Detroit Steel, or something like that. Like there was always like the secondary flair to it.
Yeah, which is weird, right? What was, because Jesse James was probably the first one to do something along those lines, right? And what was his show called?
Like West Coast Customs and
West Coast Choppers.
Oh yeah, so there was that, but yeah, there was the show. What was that show with the Mustang, that the vert that cut grass and shit?
Oh yeah, right.
Monster Garage.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah. Anyways, you know, there's all these things that to consider with the YouTube and trying to get traction and trying to get people, because their channel's pretty new. And then so this video just absolutely took off, and then started doing some digging. And of course there's like a lot of weird, like you can only see the hype button if you're using the mobile app. So if you watch it on your TV or you watch it on your desktop, you're not going to see it. Not all channels or not all videos will get it. YouTube sort of decides who they're going to throw a bone to. And then I guess if you do hype, you only have X amount of hypes you can give per week. So as a user, I think you get like 3 hypes or something like that. Then it resets once every week, and like kind of neat, but definitely it must be like in like beta testing or something, right? Because there's really no information on it to explain it. Well, ChatGPT did a pretty good job, I guess, piecing all the info together. But yeah, there you have it. So if you see that stuff on our YouTube channel, hype it up, and we'll go from there. But and for anybody that isn't in the know, I've been helping out Martin Brothers, aka Iron Resurrection, get their YouTube channel going off the ground. We're getting it off, and of course, they got the 79 pace car build that they're doing, but now I'm covering a lot of other stuff that's going on in the shop too, which is pretty neat.
Yeah, it is super cool. I guess I'm glad that they're doing something like that to try to help the little guys out, because I think we talk about this quite often, right? But like, you know, you've got your core group of people that kind of enjoy your personality and how you present things and the topics you talk about, right? But the weird part about this, at least from how I understand the algorithm, is when either Chris or I, or anyone for that matter, post up a video, it goes to people that are subscribed to you or I think the only catch with that is if someone that isn't subscribed to you has watched one of your videos recently, they may get it shuffled into their fold of like recommended stuff. But that's really your only shot at getting something off the ground and having it seen by others, is if those two groups of people see it. And so, for example, if like today, I put a video out on this scanner tool, right? And it's like, okay, I get it, and I even say this at the start of the video, like this is not going to pertain to the typical Foxbody audience because none of us got OBD2 ports. However, and I go into this thing.
All the Coyote swap guys would, or Godzilla swap, or whatever.
Yeah, that's true. So anyway, surprise, surprise, this video is just like on fucking life support, right? And who knows? You never know with these things down the road. Sometimes they surprise you, but had I get, if I had the opportunity to get YouTube bless me with that hype button and a couple of guys hit it, well, then it goes to the next layer of like another audience, right? So it's neat from that perspective, I guess. But yeah, I don't know. It's the fucking algorithm game, right? I know we make people's ears bleed with it sometimes, but
you need a hype button for the pod, so that way we can like get up there with Rogan.
Oh, wouldn't that be something, hey?
Which, did you see the video that I sent you? I think I forwarded it to you, of the Coda accommodation area, and Rogan's apparently moving his cars and his podcast on site at the Coda track.
Yeah, which, I mean, in some ways kind of surprises me. I'm a fairly regular listener to his stuff. And from what I understand, he doesn't go into great detail talking about, well, he definitely doesn't say where his studio is, right? That's kept under wraps. But it sounds to me like anytime he does talk about the studio, like it's quite the spot, right? Gym and archery range and cold plunge, and like if you can go there and just live, you know what I mean? It's a fucking house. So to hear that he's gonna like jump over to something new, especially when he just poured quite a bit of money into that, setting that place up in Austin. I mean, he's only been there 4 or 5 years now, right? So just up and move again.
Or maybe he's maybe they heard wrong, right? Like maybe he's just gonna have an outfit there for some cars, or maybe a mini podcast, or maybe he'll have 2 locations. Who knows?
Well, if he does, and Buddy let the cat out of the bag a little too soon, maybe there's some suing that's going to go on, and or a canceled deal. That would hurt.
Well, there you go. Yeah.
Or maybe it's the Streisand effect. That's the thing. Yeah, maybe it's the Streisand effect, where even though it's bad and they're going to get sued, people are going to buy just because of the hype of hearing that Rogan might be in there, right?
True.
Yeah. Yeah, those are pretty cool. I messaged you back actually after that. There's a spot like that in town here where there is a catch to it, in that I don't believe you can sleep in there officially. I'm sure you can get a little carried away with the boys and crash on the couch, but like there's no living in these ones, which I don't know if that's an insurance thing or why they would even try to tell people how to operate in there, because these are people with big bucks. And you don't tell those types of people to fucking how to live their lives, right? But I've heard that's one of the catches. And then I've just seen photos. I've never been over to them or anything. But some of these places, I mean, guys have like themes. You know what I mean? The whole place is decorated Corvette or whatever, right? And yeah, they're these like polished floor. It's like going into a fucking Lambo dealership. Some of them, It's definitely not like something just the random guy would have, You need big bucks.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, that's some different tax bracket.
Yeah. Hey, dude, we need to clear the air on something here.
Okay.
So I got absolutely hammered on Monday, as I guess we both kind of usually do, because like, ladies and gents, let me tell you, I'm a fairly avid listener to podcasts. And I know exactly what each and every one of you go through when Chris and I are talking like we got fucking marbles in our mouths or our heads, and we can't remember what the hell it is that we're trying to think of, right? Our head tells us, but it won't come out of our mouths. So I get the whole steering wheel beat program. I go there all the time too. So we were talking about who was it that won Foxtoberfest that year? Right. And even Josh, he was in the same boat as us, right? He's like, fuck, I can't remember. I think it was it. Anyway, Paul, I hope I pronounce your last name correctly. VanHalst, 2 years in a row, right? Once with that Capri, which was a tie with War Admiral. I think that was 23, if I've got my info correct. And then the following year with the 83, 82, 82. Okay. The black one, 4i car. And then this year, right, comes in hot with this little red number. And man, I commented on, I think him and Foxbody Pete had a little collaboration going on the gram. Oh, Pete, man, he's been fucking blasting the posts out. And thank Christ, because for guys like us that didn't go, we kind of get a little taste of it. And he's a professional videographer. So, you know, the guy takes good videos. I've actually been, he's a one-man band like us. So he's been so busy going to these events and shit, but I've been missing his little garage updates.
Oh,
Those
yeah.
fucking, I quite literally live to see those updates because he's kind of like, when he starts them out, it's like, you can kind of see him looking at the camera like, am I recording or not? Like, I'm just dying through the whole thing, right? And he's been busting his ass on that car of his too. So anyway, Foxbody Pete and Paul, little collaboration effort on this little red number, right? Little Dutch deal. And I really liked all the subtle touches that car had going on with it. I absolutely loved those seat choice that he made. The stitching, the whole thing just was fucking awesome. I really want to see it in person because it looks to me from the video, and colors can get thrown off a little bit in video, as we know, right? But it almost looks to me like those seats have a little bit of a tan tinge to them, right? They're kind of that like 92 goofy gray but it's almost like the tan has been pumped up a little bit more. And I fucking love it. I think it works so well in that car.
Yeah, I think it has a lot of little nice attention to detail things, right? Like the fact, getting little Dutch decals on the brake calipers, wheel choice is really
Oh
nice
yeah.
as well. The red belts and on the seats too. Like it looks like the whole interior, like clearly it got all redone. You know what I mean? Like it would be, but even in that case, so you're not 50 shades of gray or whatever and that's the weird thing. The light titanium does sort of have that little weird tanny tinge, and sometimes it looks more tan than others, I guess, depending how much UV and if the car had tint or where it was. Fuck, I don't know. But to your point, I do feel like if it's a shade off, but like a shade off in the right direction, and just something about with that version of red too. As mentioned, don't like red typically, but that's actually a really well sorted looking car. Like to me, I was just like, if my yellow Dutch was red, that's kind of sort of how it would look. So, and then like the attention to the engine bay and all that other stuff. I messaged him earlier as we were going back and forth about a Dutch kit, I think last year before him building the car. And so hopefully we can work something out so we can get a real kit on his car. And that I'd love to see it in person too.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a really nicely done rig. Like you say, all those just little subtle things that I think it's a good way of summing this up for me is all the little things that say someone like you or I would pick up on, they would almost go like right by your wife's attention, right? Like to her, it's just kind of a really nice looking red car, but then there's all these little neat nuances of it. I think it's one of those cars, the more time you spend around it, the more you would even pick up on. But Pete did a great job with that.
What
video
would be an interesting, I guess, little study to do? I feel like any coupe that has a body kit would typically have a lot of those little personal touches that we're talking about. I think like it's just, if you're going to put a body kit on a notch, you're almost profiling yourself the same way that we are. And that's why I think we appreciate that car so much. Not because, like, I don't know, you take the body kit off, would the wheels still work? I could maybe see the interior. You know what I mean? Like, I just feel like a lot of that just kind of goes together, and that's what makes it so cool. But now, it could have been poorly executed as well. You know what I mean? Like, there's people that could put stuff on, or all of a sudden you got some one-piece headlights or atrocious taillights or God knows what, or the wheel choice is just completely off. I had a guy the other day message me, forget what video it was. Actually, it was my Facebook reel of Joe Martin looking at my silver notch. And somebody was like, you should put on 17-inch bullets. And I'm like, oh my. The funny thing is, when I bought the car, it came on a set of bullets as fucking rollers. And dude,
did it?
Yeah, it was, God, did it look bad. I'm sure I have a picture of it somewhere, but it was pre-Detch kit and everything else. It was just bullet wheels on the silver notch. And I was just like, oh my God, I wanted to puke in my mouth, but I could see past it. But yeah,
that's hilarious.
It's cool how some of these cars can come together, and just those little details. Because, like, man, like, even not the video, there was a couple pictures, I think one from the passenger side, and you just see that red seatbelt contrasting against that seat. And you're just like, boom, like you said, it's just like, it just catches your eye. Something's not right. You know what I mean? Just enough to grab your attention. Shit that War Admiral would love, because he loves all those little things. Like, oh my God, I need to go look at that.
Yeah, it's true. It's okay. You were talking about the wheels. It's funny. Like, I think that wheel choice, it's one of those wheels that, when you're hunting for wheels, let's say, or if you're flipping through a mag looking at wheels, it's one of those wheels that you'd be like, yeah, that's not a bad looking wheel, but I don't know if it would work. Like, it's kind of one of those, like, you're half in, you're half out. And then you see it on that car, you're like, Jesus Christ, what a home run. Like, nailed it, and then going back to the whole, like, one shade of tan or whatever it is, if maybe it's the camera throwing it off, whatever it is, I love it. But I couldn't help but think, I'm like, is this, like, how when society kind of gets just like, you associate two things together, spaghetti and meatballs, let's say, right? Or Ferrari red tan interior, right? Like, they're things that we kind of get programmed with and we don't even know it. I wonder if that car sort of plays into that theme. And you could kind of maybe even argue the wheel as well, right?
Yeah, like, the wheel to me kind of reminds me of like an HRE.
Right. Yeah.
Or something like it. It's got a little bit of a Euro flair about it. And I think, again, like, the Detch kit just does such an amazing job at bringing out the Euro design of the Fox that a lot of people don't realize was influenced that way. And actually, that was cool about, I think I told you about the TikTok post that I did, but similarly on that one with Joe Martin, that's actually got a good amount of views. Really positive, like, everyone's seen, like, oh my God, that looks like a Fox Benz, or like amazing execution of, a American and Euro blend, or, you know what I mean? And I think that's it's just such a cool thing what wheels can do. Because like, you throw your set of drag lights on, or, welds, and you got this crazy race look. And then you throw on whatever, some Borbettes or whatever it is, you get a Euro look, or you get the Aussie look with the ROHs or whatever it might be. Like, it's, I don't know. It just goes again to the diversity and multiple faces that these cars can represent.
Well, yeah, because you've got that whatever, like the Mercedes 190 or whatever the hell they called it, right? Which is kind of the whatever European air quote twin-ish, like their boxy square front end, whatever, of the Foxbody. And so yeah, when you see your car, especially with those Oz wheels on it, right? Like it's just kind of that, it's almost a mind fuck. You know what I mean? You're like, wait a minute, right? What's going on here? Yeah. So dude, there is an old photo. Oh shit, here it is. I found it. These are screenshots that I have from 2014 from the corral. Okay. And there was this flat black. I'll show you the picture on here. Folks, we do put these on YouTube where you can watch just us two dickheads on here. Or if we're going to do what I'm about to do, which is screen share with Chris, you can see what the hell it is that I'm talking about. So, black coupe, right? GT front lip, but like, I think these are, well, maybe even says, yeah, 18-inch bullets with like a dished rear to them.
I have to say, those bullets don't look bad in an 18.
I know, right? It was the first thing I thought of when you were like bullets, because funny enough, when I swapped my car over, did my poor man's 5-bolt swap, the car that I swapped that shit onto my car with had a set of like shitty square, like 8-inch wide bullets. And I rolled bullets for a bit too. Yeah. Yeah. This thing, I mean, it's not awful, you know?
No.
So
Yeah,
they
like
can be done.
get some headlight alignment on there, and that thing would be pretty sweet.
Yeah. I've often thought, how neat would it be to do, was it like an MTV or show or something like Where Are They Now? Like if you could go back to, well, when was this post? Let's see here. Shit, I'm zoomed too far in. I can't see. Or maybe my screenshot cut it out. Dang. Like, whenever this post was, probably 2005, 6, 7, something like that. And you could find the owner of this car, right? And be like, hey, what was going on in the day, right? Like, what were you doing? What were you up to? And get them on here for a yak.
Well, funny enough, there was a guy came up to me at the Dutch meet in Canada the other weekend. And what did he say? He said something like, oh, I remember this, orange car that was on this magazine. I can't tell you what magazine it was now, but it was like a bright orange Fox that had a Dutch kit on it with a T-bird front end, like Tim Allen style, and all this custom work. And it was like I said, it was in some magazine that I can't remember the name of. So I guess he found the magazine and the dude's name was in it. So he did some Googling and he found, I think, the guy on Facebook or something like that, and sent him a message. And it took a while, but the guy got back to him and was like, oh yeah,
Nice.
no, that was me. That was my car. And, I got pictures of it from, cause this would have been like digital camera at best times, and, yeah, so he's supposed to post these like nostalgic pictures of like this crazy build, which like back then, like we're talking probably early 2000s when, imports were on the scene and it was all about grafting, different front ends on the stuff or different taillights and the things. And so yeah, to kind of your point, right? It would be cool to do more of those follow-ups and just be like, man, what were you thinking? Like, would you still build that today if you could,
Totally. Yeah, just get some of that perspective. Because, I mean, I would say my tastes have slightly modified. Like the overarching thing, if you were looking at me from 30,000 feet 20 years ago versus now, pretty similar. You know what I mean? Not a lot of continental change. I'm the same kind of thought patterns, but I've honed them as well, right? And I've had other experiences in life. I've seen other cars. And look at how much has changed from then till now in automotive technology too, right? So as that morphs, and if you're depending on what you're paying attention to, it kind of navigates you 5% left and 5% right, and your ideas tweak with that, right? So yeah, based off of what we were dealing with then, some of these pictures that I've got screenshots of and whatever else it was just what we were dealing with. It's all we really knew, right? And like you say, like that Honda Civic import world and whatever else, which, dude, have you seen any of these new Civic things running around? I don't even know what the fuck they're called. They look like a little Batmobile or something.
Like you talking like the little Civic, like the still like a bubble back thing with all the body kit looking stuff on it?
Yeah. And I'm
Yeah, I've seen a few
pretty
of those.
sure they're 4-doors too, right?
It might be. So a friend of mine was big into the Civic scene back in the day. He had like I think it was a 2000 SIR, which I want to say in the US they never had an SIR. They just had SIs that had the same VTEC, whatever, the bigger motor that was fairly fast for what they were. And it was like that bluish purple color.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if you could kind of remember. It was a pretty unique color to Honda back in the day. And sure as shit, that car got stolen. But yeah, he's always been kind of into that scene. So like last year, I want to say he's like, oh, I know, I want to go get one of these new Civics. Like they're badass. And he's showing. I'm like, it's funny how there's like they've carried through. I don't want to call it like gaudy, but like it's almost to me like Toyota Camry with the body kit.
Yeah.
Like a little extra, but I don't know. Maybe like that's what the Honda people want to see. Like I feel like it's sort of like a Subaru. Like Subaru people are loyal to Subaru and they want to see certain things and they expect to see certain things. I feel like maybe the whole Civic, that the specific one that we're talking about, is just trying to like hold true to that, which if we're done with that, well, I'm like segueing here because I have a Foxbody specific part to this. So just make sure I don't forget.
Okay. I'm trying to think, it might be a Hyundai or something. There was something called like a Velociraptor. And those Civics look like that.
Velociraptor. I know what
Yeah.
you're talking about, but that's not what it's called. It is something Veloci something, but yeah.
Yeah. And it's kind of like, what the fuck are we doing here, guys? Like, this is a little too outrageous in all angles, but you see them. So obviously people have walked in off the street and went, I gotta have that. Right. It's very loud. It's very like not loud like to the ear. It's just loud to look at, and it really makes you have to wonder. Now, that said, I mean, if we're talking trends and the way people navigate the things they like in life, I mean, look at like a runway clothing thing, right? Where the broads are parading up and down the deal in like zip ties and tie straps. You're like, what the fuck? Who would ever wear that? But it kind of morphs. Well, maybe in a more guy-minded example, you look at like, oh Christ, what are they called? Concept cars, right? That's like, what the hell is that? Sometimes they nail it and you're like, please build that. But more often than not, it's like, what are we doing here? But it's like, let's go way the fuck out there in crazy land, and then we'll reel it in and kind of hone it and whatever. That's how the new shit begins, right? Trends.
Yeah, no, for sure, man. It's it's innovation and it's kind of futuristic and it might flop. Like who thought what was that, Pontiac Aztec was a good idea?
Or yeah, the Chevy Lumina, the Dustbuster van. Like, what are we doing here? Those are terrible.
Actually, I'd like to know where the people on that marketing team are now.
Oh God, hey. Like definitely not in marketing anymore.
Or whatever, or the marketing team, what they thought about the design team when they had to, market that shit.
Oh, dude, if you could have been a fly on the wall, hey, I got the end all be all. Wait till you see this design. Imagine Dustbuster with wheels. Like, what are we doing here? Jesus. Okay, anyway, your Foxbody part.
Yeah, so I had a consult earlier this week, and it was a gentleman that is building. So do you remember when, I think it was like pre-COVID, there was this picture floating around like Ford's bringing back the Notchback? It was white
Yeah.
and it had like a Cobra front, like a Terminator lower front bumper grafted in and all this shit. Well, this guy is like building that car.
Really?
So he sent me some pictures of it, and I gotta say, like I've seen that Terminator front end grafted in on a couple four eyes that have looked okay. I've seen a couple attempts on an arrow nose that didn't look so hot. And usually it's that transition from where the front bumper cover then goes to the front fender extension. Usually that's where things start falling apart with people who have done it.
Yeah.
But he's done it nicely. Like it's all kind of one section, so it kind of wraps around the front fender as an extension, sort of like a Cobra rear bumper cover would wrap around that quarter panel part.
Yeah.
And so he's got it so it's removable and stuff, and he's done like this crazy circular gas door on the rear quarter panel and all these cool little like shaved handles, all that shit. And I was like, holy hell. I'm like, that's pretty fucking cool. Cause he was telling me, he's like, oh, do you remember that picture? I'm like, yeah, I remember that picture. And he's like, oh, well, here's my Instagram. So I start scrolling through it and I'm like, shit, man, that's pretty cool. So yeah, he's
Huh.
looking at doing a Godzilla powertrain in it. So, obviously we're talking about what he's going to need and what the best options are for him to go that route. But it's been a work in progress for a couple of years, but he's pretty determined to get going on it. And looks like, yeah, the body shop's doing a good job at getting things close. So now he's ready for the powertrain. But yeah, that was cool to see. Like kind of
Oh
going from
shit.
like, something that clearly somebody just photoshopped up back then. Like AI wasn't around to come up with that, which I'm sure now ChatGPT or whoever, whatever platform, had just
Could do
pieced
it.
that together real quick. But yeah, that was super cool to see.
So Canadian guy, American guy?
American guy.
Okay.
Um, Yeah, his name is Mike, and huge Foxbody nut. He's had the car for a long time, and then came up with that crazy idea. And he's like, "Yeah, I was just supposed to start with this, and then it turned into that, and the rabbit hole at the body shop. One thing led to another. So it's been a work in progress. So hopefully he gets it done because it'd be really
Yeah.
cool to. Because I think everybody will remember that picture.
Oh shit. Yeah, I think that's one that's burnt in most people's memories. Um, but you know that I think about that quite often. Like what would a coupe say look like in 2025, right? Or 2030 or whatever. And it's like the more you think about it, like I think because Ford checked so many boxes that in my opinion anyway are timeless, like as much as you think you would change, I think you would probably not change as much, if that makes any sense. And, but then you've got the other end of that spectrum, which is Ford's attempt at like trying to do a 90s throwback with that fucking, what is it, 2026 thing. And you can get, that's like a 93 Cobra throwback or whatever. You're like, like, that's just silly. That's
Yeah.
like chrome wheel wells. Like, what are we doing? You know,
Some
so
things
corny.
work, some things don't. Actually, that would be cool to throw into your AI stuff tools that you use there is say, hey, take this Fox body and add Euro body style into it and just see what it
Yeah,
tweaks or what it changes.
true. So full disclosure, I funny enough, this thing, I guess like any Google or AI platform, it learns you based off of the things that it can, well, one that you tell it, and two, your IP address and all that stuff, right? So I stay signed out of it. I don't sign in because in my tinfoil hat wearing mind, it like that way it can't track me or it can't figure me out, right? But then I'll ask it something and it's like, oh, but do you want me to like tell you that in the context of your local area? I'm like, wait a minute. How do you know my local area? Right. Anyways,
So you
so anyway,
connected through a VPN before you launch this thing, or what?
no, and actually remind me to tell you my theory on VPNs in a second. So where I'm going with all this is I don't have like the high end AI tech, right? Like it will not give me photos. It will not, I think you have to be signed in to get those whatever features, right? But yeah, to your point, there must be something out there because I mean, every once in a while, you see guys you follow post something, you're like, okay, your car is in an area that I know that's probably not where you live. You know what I mean? And it's well done.
Yeah,
Like,
Kevin has definitely got all the features unlocked because he did one of himself, like wearing a Bucky shirt, taking a photo of shit, I forget what it is, and like it was a really cool picture that it came up with. But you probably saw the one he did a donkey fix it, right?
yeah, yeah,
The donkey and the Crocs.
yeah,
Yeah, that's kind of
yeah.
fun. I like it when
Oh,
other
totally.
people have that shit because then I'll just be like, hey man, can you do this for me? Because yeah, man, like ChatGPT, like it knows that you're trying to dodge it. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, this motherfucker logs me out all the time. Like he's
Oh, yeah.
got those tendencies or that behavior to try and circumvent the system, and I'm going to show him.
Yeah. Yeah. And we think that we're all sneaky and stuff. Um, Actually, I got a good story for you. I'll tell you my VPN thing and then I'll tell you my story about cell phones. So I remember when, like, roughly, I remember when I first started hearing about VPNs, and I was like, right out of the gate, my spidey sense was kind of tingling. I'm like, there's something not right about this. Like, I can't quite put my finger on it, but it seems a little fishy to me. And then over the last, say, 5 years, right? Like, you've got huge podcasters, Rogan being one of them, is advertising for fuck, I can never remember the names of these things off the top of my head. Up one was I know there was like NordVPN, there was
ExpressVPN.
that's the big one. Yeah, I think that's the one he's advertising for. And all of a sudden it's like, okay, now the air quote mainstream is advertising these things. I'm like, these are a way of sidestepping like what they the information that they want to know about you. This, and now we're advertising them on the mainstream. I'm like, okay, this is getting way more fishy to me, right? So I think I've finally put it together. So this is kind of like, remember back when it was right after 9/11 and George Bush Jr. said, hey guys, we're gonna, I forget what act it was, but like he said, listen, we need to like remove some of your privacies and we need to be able to like check in on everybody. It's going to be for national security and all these various reasons, because we need to like suss out these guys that are flying planes into buildings. Like we need to keep a closer eye on things, right? And everybody went, whoa, that's a cross, or a bridge I'm willing to die on, because you're not getting into my private information. Well, wouldn't you know it, Facebook comes along right afterwards, right? And it's like everybody goes on there and like, I took 2 shits today and then I had a latte and then I went to Burger King, and then like Facebook is just a data dump of information. It's like, is nobody putting these two together, guys? They got the information they needed and or wanted, and you willingly gave it to them, right? But you weren't willing to let them secretively look in on you. But now you're just willingly dumping all this information out there for them. Think about it. So relating that back to the VPN side of things, it's like, are those that purchase a VPN style service someone that is just that much more worth paying attention to? Because the reason they're buying the VPN is so they can kind of sidestep where they're located and, maybe watch something they shouldn't watch on Netflix and all this other stuff, right? So then it's like, you literally just put the target on your back by signing up for a VPN service.
So I see where you're going with that.
I hope that all
And
made sense.
You know, it does. And this is where I get to put on my IT
Tech
hat.
hat.
Yeah, my tech hat that I have tons of credentials for and forget that I do. So in early days, which would have been around your 911s and all that stuff, um, the reality is a VPN was almost like spoofing your IP address. It was like,
Yep.
let me look like I'm here when I'm really over here.
Right.
And that way, which the big reason for spoofing or getting around stuff was so that you could download off fucking Napster or whatever the hell was going on at that time. So that way you wouldn't get in trouble, because that was like sort of like when they started cracking down on people downloading movies, and oh my God, like Warner Brothers was like coming out and like suing people because they knew that your IP address downloaded this, that, or the next thing. So people just wanted to make it look like they weren't where they were, which if you spoof stuff properly, like there was probably, I don't feel like that'd play into what you're saying. Now, as time goes on, and then you get these services that are essentially spoofing on your behalf, I think in the beginning of things it worked, because like it's like when I first moved to Dubai and Skype was banned, and there was a lot of things that are banned or that were banned over there. And if you ran a VPN, you could get around them, or you needed a VPN for work purposes. And I think like globalization, people traveling, people working abroad, that's where the change happened. Because now it was, okay, I'm in the UAE, I can't download my Bank of America app on my cell phone. And if I can't download the app, I can't manage my money or do my finances on my phone. So different purpose at that point. Now it's, I'm not doing it because I'm trying to circumvent stuff. Well, I'm just trying to do it to get the location so that I can have access to the things that I need access to. Again, going
Mm.
back to work, if you work for banking, you work for whatever, you want to make sure that you're connected through something that is secure from your work's perspective. Because when they get you to connect for work purposes, you're through a secure server. They set it up in a way to make sure that somebody isn't trying to, you know what I mean, sniff your packets and all that other shit as you're transmitting data back and forth. So, with that said, when that came out, that's probably where the shift is, because I would tend to agree, because now just the way that VPNs work, they can be detected. So, I mean, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's a bad thing. It just means that, typically your IP address will stay with you for a while through your internet service provider. And, it will renew, but that IP address is kind of localized, almost like, it's like having a Texas license plate. So your
Mm.
IP address is Texas. But then you have your MAC address of your device, which is like the number that's on the license plate. So then it's like, oh, okay, well, why is the number of your license plate showing up on a Florida plate?
Right.
And it's like, at that point, it's like, well, we know that MAC address is, maybe we can't see exactly what state is on the plate, but we know you're not in the right state, at a high level. Like somebody that's looking at what's going on, they won't get the whole picture, but they'll get enough to be like, something isn't right here, because typical activity wouldn't say, oh, you're on a Florida plate today. Oh, you're on a Massachusetts plate tomorrow. You're on a Cali plate the next day. Okay, something's going on. And that doesn't, again, mean go and arrest the person, but it's like 100%. It's like, this isn't typical behavior, what's going on. And that might flag something in a system, which
Yeah.
the system is like, okay, and this happens. There's thresholds. So it'll be like, look for any user whose IP address has changed more than X amount of times in Y amount of time.
Yeah.
And if more than this, then fire the alarm.
Hmm.
And then you get, you know, IT security being like, why is your IP address changing? We detect you're using a VPN. Are you allowed to use a VPN, or you're not allowed to use VPN? And that's when shit starts unfolding. So
Right.
Long-winded way of geeking out there, but I think it's just sort of the evolution of things and how it
Yeah.
works. And now people think it's like going into Google and throwing it in an incognito mode. And
Yeah.
is it really incognito? Or,
Yeah.
shit, dude, it's because even if you're doing that, your phone's still picking up at probably what you're doing, or your camera lens is on recording what you're saying. And so, I don't know, man.
Great fucking segue, buddy. So, a good friend of mine, I'm going to keep this vague, but I'll give you some details just to like, I don't know, not that I have like protected information that I shouldn't be saying, but hypothetically, I maybe kind of do. So, good friend of mine, he was in a military type gig. Okay. And well, was in a gig like that for quite some time, proved himself, got into like a higher level gig. And it was at that point in time is kind of where the story starts. So I said to him at a nice fall campfire, right? Which is kind of how we started the pod out, having some drinks. I said, "Hey, bud, you got to tell me something that I shouldn't know," kind of thing, right? And I'm like, "Cause surely you've learned something, you know something, and you know how I love that type of intel." I'm like, "You got to tell me something I shouldn't know." And it was totally uncommon for him. He just like didn't say anything, and he walked away from the fire, walked over to his truck. I'm like, "Huh." Never offended this guy. I've known him fucking many, many years. I'm like, "What did I say? What did I do?" Right? Huh, weird. But he's fiddling around in his cab of his truck still. Then he comes back. He's like, "All right, let's do this." I'm like, "Oh, I'm still hung up on the whole, why'd you leave the fire?" Right? He goes, "Here's what I can tell you. I don't know who killed JFK." I'm like, "Okay. I know they're still trying to figure that one out. I don't know if aliens exist." I'm like, "Jesus Christ." And now this is years ago too. So, well, probably actually that'll add some context to this too. This was probably like 2010, 11, 12ish. So,
The
wasn't
start of
like the current
smartphones.
day. Yeah, start a smartphone. And what made me think of mentioning that context is like these days it seems like everybody's seen aliens and whatever else, right? So this is pre all that. So anyway, don't know JFK, don't know the alien thing. I'm like, "Okay, dude, I know. Like, let's get to the point here." He's like, "One thing I can tell you is even with the battery out of your phone, I can access the mic and the camera, or I could anytime I wanted." So some of you close listeners out there are still probably wondering what the fuck went on when he went back to his truck. I'm like, "Okay, pause that. Why'd you leave the fire? What went on there?" He goes, and he is an Android user. He goes, "I went over to my truck and I pulled the battery out of my phone and I threw up my console." He goes, "I still out of habit, I do it, right?" But he goes, knowing full well that it doesn't change anything. He's like, people I was tracking, you literally like, he goes, I'd be in their device doing their thing, and it's like, they'd say, "Okay, boys, pull the batteries. It's time to talk about the real shit." Pull the battery, doesn't matter. He says, I didn't lose connection, which makes you ask many, many questions, right? Like
Well,
hidden battery,
it's like that
like,
whole wireless charging, or you know what I mean?
yeah,
Power
wireless
over
power.
Ethernet, wireless power, right?
Yeah. So that one has always stuck with me. I'm like, no kidding, right? Whether
So
you
there
want,
was something to be said about what Fast and Furious movie was that, where it was like they were just going through everyone's devices so that they could, I think they were using facial recognition, following people around through everyone else's cell phones and devices
yeah,
and stuff like that. So yeah,
yeah.
some truth to that, I guess.
Well, and the point of saying all that is like, if you think, like you were saying, turning on incognito mode is like 007 level shit. I mean, dude, you're drooling on yourself. You know what I mean? You're not out thinking the smart people out there. Okay. You're really truly not. And that's the other thing. Like, I know there's been like some fairly monumental moments in time where like somebody's hacked into something and they still don't know, kind of thing. Like, those are typically the people that ironically enough get hired to these other agencies because they're those like brilliant minds. Like, funny enough, somebody here, like, well, someone, something, some group, I don't know, but somebody hacked into our local airport's PA system like a week ago and started broadcasting. It was in another language. I don't know what it translated into, but it didn't sound good. There was a lot of hollering going on. And yeah, to the best of my knowledge, they still don't know who did it.
Jesus.
I know, right? And the funniest part about it is there's a guy, like, he's just sitting in the airport waiting for his flight, and he turns his camera on facing away from himself, like kind of getting the what everyone's reaction is. And you can see people like kind of doing the what the fuck, and like some people laughing. And anyway, the way the story goes, after they interviewed him, there was like, did you get on your flight? He goes, hell no. Like, not a chance in hell I was getting on that airplane. And the reporter's like, well, did anyone else? He goes, it seemed like most people got on that goddamn jet. I'm like, I'd be going through the fucking wall. Like, get me out of here. This is not good. You know?
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
So that's the thing. Like, there's whatever you think you've got figured out. I mean, there's always smarter, better funded, you know, more nefarious individuals than you think. And a lot of them work for the agencies, let's just say, you know.
Yeah, true
If they
that.
want to track you, they will.
Well, speaking of which, you doing anything for Halloween? You going to be a secret spy or something like that? Or the kids got cool costumes?
Uh, I don't think the kids got anything like super cool. Actually, a little bit of a. Actually, I don't remember when this movie came out. I think it was in the 2000s. Men in Black.
Yep.
Abby's going. Yeah, they're gonna do 2 Men in Blacks and then a bunch of aliens. And I was like, oh,
That
that's
works.
kind of neat, right? Yeah, a little throwback.
Yeah, especially if they theme and all get together. That's kind of cool.
The thing with it is, though, and I always say this about Halloween costumes, is like you really got to come in hot. Okay, like you can't have any question in your mind what this is. You know, if you're gonna, one of you is gonna dress up as Will Smith, and the other one, you know what I mean? It's like, what's with the two dudes in suits and a bunch of aliens? This makes no sense, right? You really got to nail it. You
Well,
know?
they'll have like the sunglasses and shit, I'm sure, and all that, and make it legit. But dude, so Britt wanted to do like a couples thing this
Yeah.
year. So we normally go. We made it sort of like an annual tradition now. We go over to Justin, the Atomic Fox owner with
Yeah.
the Tiffany Blue Engine Bay there. And so he lives in like a really good neighborhood filled with little goblins and ghouls. It's probably the only time of year that I like seeing kids because they normally don't look like kids. They look like goblins and
Right.
ghouls. So, yeah, Britt's like, yeah, I want to do like a couples theme thing. I'm like, okay, like I can get into this, whatever, as long as it's something cool, right?
Yeah.
Dude, she's like, oh, I found this avocado kit for his and hers. And the picture,
Oh.
the chick has the pit and the dude's wearing the hole. I'm like,
Oh.
the fuck? I'm like, this is wrong in so many ways. And like, I get it. We can order it and I can wear the pit and she can be the hole. But I'm like, I'm not wearing a fucking avocado vest thing. I'm like, no.
Yeah.
So I'm like,
Yeah.
you could
That's
do better. I'm like, sexy, like police woman thing, and I
yeah.
can be like an inmate or a prisoner. Like, even if we just keep it basic, right? And
Totally.
yeah, so she kept dragging her ass. I'm like, well, fuck this. I'm gonna be a plague doctor, you know, with like the bubonic plague with the fucking mask, and it's like a leatherish type cape fucking thing. I got this glowing syringe. But
Yeah.
now
Yeah.
that COVID's over, you know, I can bring back the real plagues and the real cool shit. So
Yeah.
I'm like, you could be a plague patient, like we can make it look like you're getting like eaten alive or something, you know?
Yeah.
So I don't know what she's doing. I think she's got some, oh shit, I forget what it is. She got a costume from the other year she didn't wear, but she still ended up buying these avocados because they're on sale. And I
Oh,
was like,
Britt.
I'm like,
See,
you're
that's the
on your
type of
own.
Yeah, that's the type of costume that your friends are like, "Oh, that's cute," and then they turn their head and go like, "They really fucked this one up," right? Like, that ain't good. Dude, I say this every year though, and I mean this was way more interesting back in the younger slash single days, but man, Halloween was always awesome for just the license to tramp it up.
That's
Like,
what I told her. I'm like,
oh, anything
you can
goes, dude.
you can be like first generation Britney Spears again,
Yep,
and before she went fucking crazy, like slutty teeny Britney Spears, like go for it.
totally.
So,
I
anyways,
seen a I seen a reel on Instagram today where the text on the screen was okay, everybody can go home now, like the Halloween costume contest has been won. Anyway, and it's two kids in kind of a convertible Power Wheels type Jeep, but it's been totally outfitted as like the Dumb and Dumber Shaggy dog. And then the two kids are wearing the orange and the blue suit. Oh my god, dude, it's a home run, this thing. Big
I
floppy ears on it and everything.
bet
Like, they nailed it.
she's got like the bowl cut and the tooth and shit, or
Yeah.
what?
Oh yeah. Yeah, they didn't leave any stone unturned. Um
Oh,
good good past costumes though that I pulled off was actually me and a buddy did do Dumb and Dumber one year. We thought it was going to be super hard to try to find those suits because obviously, right, the colors and everything else. We ended up finding them in a thrift store, like sitting, two suits away from each other, a baby blue and an orange, right? So we did that one year. One we did actually, it was like good and bad all at the same time, but we dressed up as Hutterites, which for those of you out in the Northeast, like Mennonite kind of, like the simpler folk that go around on horse and carriage. Well, up here in Canada, we've got the Hutterites. I think there's some Mennonite colonies too. But anyway, when I lived in Lethbridge, there was Hutterite colonies all over the place and really nice people. So I'm not trying to take anything away from them, but like they were kind of an interesting crew, right? And so we decided one year we'd dress up like them. And some of their go-tos is like a thinner, almost like chin strap style beard, right? A black blazer, black pants that just, well, they make their own clothes, right? Or the gals sew the clothes for the guys. They never fit them all that well, right? Like they just look like they're wearing a cardboard suit. So anyway, we pieced all that together. Typically like some kind of a Western style shirt, shit kickers or work boots or whatever, right? For footwear. And there was probably 5 or 6 of us that did this pub crawl up in Calgary and all dressed like Hutterites. So the good and the bad with it was some people were just on the floor howling, right? We pulled it off pretty good. Other people are like, hey, I thought these guys weren't allowed to like drink and party and whatever, right? They live a simpler life. Like they thought we were legitimate.
so
So sometimes they can backfire on you, right?
yeah, to your point of looking legitimate. So of course, my time in Dubai, when I'd come back and travel, the ultimate Halloween costume is dressing up like a sheikh.
Totally.
So the one year, yeah, actually, we were in Vegas for SEMA. So it was me, Kevin, and Charles, and I brought them some dish dashes, Candora, whatever, with like the red Saudi check, head pieces,
What
and a buddy of
what's a
mine
dish
had. Sorry,
what's a dish dashes? What's that?
the dish dash is like the white robe.
Okay.
Yeah. So brought them that. And then a buddy of mine had like a black with gold trace like overlay. That's sort of like what the sheikhs wear. And
Kind of like an overcoat or like a robe.
yeah. So I did
Yeah.
that, dude. I like just fermented my beard black, and we all had Ray-Bans on, and we're literally walking downtown Vegas. It was Halloween day, but like, we went out at like 10 and 11 o'clock in the morning. So we're strutting down and we're like beers in hand. And like, you know, it was, I don't want to say like like people were unsure. You know what I mean? And it was just sort of like, do I say something? Do I not say? Like, are these guys for real? And it's, Kevin was a little nervous. He's like, is it okay to like wear this stuff? Like
Yeah.
people aren't too, I guess keen on the Middle East right now, blah, blah, blah. And like, man, we'll be fine. So that turned into a great time. And then I think the following year we got Charles's wife, the burqa. So she was
Oh,
all ninja'd out in black. And we went downtown Austin to all the like bars and shit. And dude, I got like the most hilarious photos just because like everybody was just like, what the fuck? And then, of course it's like, oh, and then ran into actually like a Bin Laden. So he was the Red Bull, whatever, Red Bull cans everywhere instead of like dynamite or some shit. So, oh my God,
nice.
it was too fun. But yeah, it's funny when people don't know what to think. Um,
Yeah.
One year, I think it was college. Me and two buddies, we went out of our way. We spent big bucks on uh, Lion, Scarecrow, and Tin Man from
Oh,
Wizard of
yeah.
Oz. So we were like, we didn't have a Dorothy, but we're like, some chick's gonna dress up as Dorothy, and we'll find her when we
I've
go
seen
out.
some hot Dorothy's on Halloween too. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So, dude, we rent these costumes, and like they were like it was expensive, like $150 an outfit, and this is like in 2000. So like you high investment level, but like looked great. So we were like actually like, man, we look pretty good. Like nobody can see our faces. Like, let's go trick or treating. And so we're knocking on doors. And, man, the amount of old biddies that were like, oh my God, let me go get my camera. Because like the Wizard of Oz is just like a
Yeah.
crowd pleaser. You know what I mean?
Classic.
Yeah. And so not only did we get candy, but I think we found two or three Dorothys throughout the night and, just got some different pictures and had a good time. But yeah, man, Halloween, favorite day of the year for me.
That's a good one. I've seen probably one of the best ones that come to mind. I've only ever seen this in like a social media post, so it's in a photo, but a gal dressed kind of in business attire, and she's got the name tag on her kind of breast deal, right? And it's Eileen, and then she's somehow covered herself in jizz, and it's "Come on, Eileen," right? Come on, Eileen.
Oh,
That's that's one of those ones that's almost like, Jedi level smart. Like you got to be really paying attention to like pick up on that one. But yeah, there's some good ones every year. I mean, I look forward to the posts, right? Because it's like who had the best shit out there? Some good ideas.
yeah. Oh man, what a good time. And all the spooky stuff too. Like I've done the Saw guy a number of years and like proper dressed up in like the suit and everything, just short of a tricycle. One year actually I rode my motorcycle around in Dubai with the fucking mask on. It was hard, but Kevin got some pictures of me. Oh, it was pretty sweet. And like, man, so many people are like legit scared of that guy
Yeah.
because like I just like we'd go somewhere and I just like do like just play like mannequin stiff, right? And just stare at somebody and like they'd look, then they'd look away, then they'd look back, and then they'd start fucking freaking out. Oh, it's a good time.
Is Dubai helmets a choice?
No, you gotta have helmet.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah.
Um, because yeah, rattling around on a bike in something would be pretty sweet, right? Especially if it was a
Well,
no helmet area.
yeah, and there's like some pretty cool helmets out there now, like
Yeah.
big Joker face or clown faces and stuff like that. And the chicks get the ones with like the fucking pigtails off of it and stuff
Oh
like
yeah.
that. It's pretty neat.
Yeah. The bike culture has really ran with that stuff. Um, no, it is a good time of year. I mean, for us with kids, it's kind of changed a bit, right? It's kind of changed to all about them. Whereas, yeah, back in the day, we used to like, what are we dressing up as and where are we going partying, right? But Halloween was always one of those ones. It's almost kind of like New Year's from a partier's perspective, in that you go out and rip on her, and you get way too carried away. So you got to try to find a cab, and you can't because everybody's trying to find a cab. Like it, and then depending on how you dressed, you're either freezing your ass off or whatever, especially up in Canada. Because that's the other downfall, especially for all us poor Canadian folks, is Halloween, depending on where you're located in the Great White North, you could be like dressing up as a fucking snowmobiler, because it's cold out and it's getting ready to snow. I
Yeah.
remember like Alberta, that was always the heartbreaker. You'd have like one in every 5 Halloweens where kids could dress up as what they wanted rather than having to wear a fucking snowsuit out, right? So, yeah. There are some people though, I've seen some like local news shit out about like people that have decorated to a point where they're like getting noticed by the news.
Mm.
Like they'll back the cars out. The whole garage is a haunted house. I mean, the whole outside yard and everything's got shit that moves and whatever, right? Like people really put the hammer down for Halloween.
Yeah, we actually went, I want to say about a week ago, there was a couple addresses that popped up in the local Facebook group of, these extreme homes that, all right, one had a little like blacked out walkway experience thing that you could go through and all this shit. So yeah, we actually grabbed Mr. Meow, took him for a little car ride and took him out to get spooked. And man, yeah, these two places and the one specifically, it was like they really themed it out. Like they had, what is it, the big bad wolf and three pigs, like set, but
Mm-hmm.
like all that type, all those themes were like horror based, right? So it was like skeleton pigs or like the bloody wolf, like he bit someone's
Right.
arm off and like so all of that type. And I was just like, so the lady was out there in the driveway. We're like, man, this is pretty unreal. But like, where do you keep all this stuff? Like when you're not using it? And she's like, oh, we got a storage unit. She's like, then we'll have to. She's like, because once this comes down, we got to set up Christmas. I'm like, holy fuck, like. And this stuff isn't cheap. Like I know because
No.
like I go out and every year I'm sort of adding to my collection of new Halloween gadgets and things and whatnot. But yeah, you see some of these people with like 20-foot skeletons or like that dude from the what is it? Midnight Christmas, whatever
Yep.
that Tim
I've
Burton
seen
movie.
that around too. Yep.
All that crazy looking stuff, and you're just like, holy hell. So
Yeah, those things are like 15 feet tall. Like they're
yeah.
huge.
But actually, what's cool is so Universal Studios, which our good friend Lewis works for, they've opened up. So normally they have what's called Halloween Horror Nights that goes on a couple months before Halloween and probably a little bit after, where they have like immersive haunted houses that you go through, and then like all the areas that you walk around, they got these spook zones of dudes with fucking chainsaws and all this stuff. But I guess now in Vegas they have a 12-month year round like theme park that's
Halloween
just like
venue.
Halloween, just horror.
Oh, cool.
And one of the things is Texas Chainsaw Massacre. So Brittany's
Ooh.
like, she can't stand the fucking chainsaws. I'm like, oh, we're going. So looking forward to that at SEMA next week. Yeah, so Halloween, good time, man.
Yeah. 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 You guys do have SEMA coming up here, don't you?
Yeah.
Right. What's have you been doing any homework? Like, do you know kind of where to go and what to see? And like, can you, I guess you can kind anyone that, so I've never been, but anyone that I know that's ever been, it's like, you're typically your first year, you go in like all doughy eyed and it's like, I'm going to see everything. And then you realize that this shit is sprawled out over like 3 million square feet. And you're lucky if you can get a tenth of it in.
Yeah, so I would say if you are one of those people that literally, like, let's say you go to a museum and it says, give yourself 2 hours, and you're the type of person that gets through in 30 minutes, I think you could walk SEMA and get it all in 2 days. Now,
Okay.
the in reality, it starts Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Now they've extended something into Friday. So you really only get 3 days. The other thing about SEMA is, technically speaking, like, it's not just for display. Like, you're supposed to be business networking. There's seminars that are going on, put on by experts in the industry that are talking about XYZ topics. So if you're in paint, there'll be all of these. And I think it is important to try and like paint this picture of like 3 million square feet or whatever it is, because it'll be like, if you're in the paint industry, there's going to be like a massive area that is not only displaying different paints and paint guns and strainers and paint cups and paint technology and this, that, and the next thing, booths, fans, respirators, suits, like every single component of just paint is going to be its whole area. And then you're going to have all these seminars, like when waterborne came, for instance, into play, and it'll be best waterborne spraying techniques, or this or that, or how is technology, or how is the environmentalists impacting automotive paint, or collision. Then there's collisions, and there's all the PDR stuff, and then there's body fillers and this and that, like just paint. And then you get into building that's just wheels. And if you want aftermarket wheels that are for Euro stuff, race wheels, light wheels, off-road wheels, this, like Chinese market, Thailand market, US market, like it is unbelievable at how large this event is, because it's a global scale. Like all of these countries that have product, that have things, because it's business networking, it's distribution, it's people, you know what I mean, looking to either buy and meet, see things that are prototyped, or maybe that is the one thing about SEMA. So if you're displaying a product, it needs to go to market within 6 months. So you can't just like say, oh, this might come into play. Anything that you see there typically will go to market. Spec chassis from Roadster Shop, for instance, right? That was the big thing last year. So yeah, you've got all that. I don't do any of the seminars. There was a few, sometimes like there were interesting topics, but honestly, by the time you get there, you get grounded, you figure yourself out, you figure you're on the other side of the place and you got to walk 3 miles to get to where you're going. It's a lot. And then they have like the whole drift area and outside experiences of this, that, and the next thing. So pretty cool, exhausting, and a lot to take in. So to answer your question, having probably gone 6 times now, you kind of know the areas that are worth going to, or what are of interest. Like for me, I want to see, air ride stuff and technology around there, suspension stuff, brake stuff, whatever, Roadster Shop stuff, to see kind of what all that stuff, or anything that can pertain to the Foxbody or Lincoln, or stuff that's specific to me. Some of the paint stuff is cool because I like that. Car audio, that's actually a big component of it there as well. So you'll kind of, even though it's sort of like a dying art, there's still companies that do cool stuff, and that's a better place than any to showcase that type of stuff. Yeah, and it's a pain in the ass to get in. That's the other thing. And kind of funny story, because I've been registered, because you got to be in the automotive industry to get in. You have to have a business, or the business needs to like register you in. And in the early days, if you were coming from out of country, it was really easy. It was just sort of like, show us your business card, or like show just some proof that you're in the automotive industry, and you sort of get a pass. And once you're in, it's kind of easy every year to say, yeah, I'm coming back. Well, when I came back to North America and I shifted, all my infamous project stuff was obviously now US based. Of course, at that point, they're like, okay, we need to see business license. We need to see, payroll stubs or whatever, to kind of prove that you're legit. And obviously, if you're trying to get other people in that, you can sort of work your way around if you're close enough to them to make it happen. And of course, you're allowed to have a spouse pass to get in. So this year, not only did I have to kind of re-go through all my stuff, they went as far as asking for our marriage certificate to prove that Brittany was my wife in order to get the spousal pass. And Lewis has always been a technical consultant and engineer to the infamous project. So getting him in was always quite easy, but even him as technically an employee or consultant, they asked for their marriage license so that Laura could get her pass.
Holy.
And Laura's brother wanted to come this year, so she was like, "Oh, can you get him in?" I'm like, "Listen, they changed everything, and in order to get him in, I'm like, I can't just. There's too much stuff to go through and hoops, and that threshold of consult. Like, I can't. Consultant's one thing, but I've got nothing for him unless I start photoshopping up some documents here. So I said, here's my information if he wants to go through. And of course, he started it and he stopped because he's like, yeah, I was asking business revenue, information like how many employees and a lot of in-depth info. So he's like, I just stopped the app. Fuck it. I don't care.
Yeah.
Then this was probably 3 weeks ago. Laura messages me and she's like, my brother got approved. I'm like, what? She's like, yeah, they just randomly sent him an email. Because at first it was like, hey, you started your application, but you never finished. Like, hey, log back in and keep going type deal. Well, he never did. But then they ended up approving him and sending him the badge. So what I think is that, and we've spoken about this, I bet you because they put so much constraint on trying to get people there, the numbers were down and they were just like, okay, guys, if there's people that have a username, a password, we got their basic information and they got a mailing address, and they paid the fee, just push the pass through. Because think about it.
They got to justify foot traffic to all these people that have paid. Do you know what going rate is for a 10 by 10 area? It's silly money.
Yeah, I had this information and it depends where you're displayed to, because there's the main hall, then East Hall, West Hall, outside, and it's a lot different. If you're the business versus the business inviting you, there's a lot of stipulations that go into SEMA. But yeah, to your point, and I think that's the other thing, right? Technically with all these seminars and everything else, it's like any other convention or conference for work, lots of overhead on a company, sending your employees, flights, accommodation, whatever per diem. They're taking the time off work and they're supposed to be there learning something or networking, bringing value to the company that they work for by going. And we all know what the current market looks like right now. It's everybody's scaling back. Everybody's like, yeah, no, what's the ROI in that? That's not benefiting us. Fuck that. If we used to send 10, we're only sending 5. And I think that sort of had this domino effect. And to your point now, it's well, is there going to be enough foot traffic to justify what we told the vendors that are going to be there?
Yeah. Yeah, I know. I used to go to this. There was a oil and gas global trade show every year. And I mean, it was a decent place to go and kind of network. Now, funny enough, you would really only network with people that you were in passing with, because there was so much bullshit on display. You'd get companies from Asia where they took their best English speaker and put them out front to try to promote some fucking widget that you'd never heard of, or it had nothing to do with like the angle of oil and gas that you were into. It was like the show itself was really meh, but it was a good place to just kind of walk around. It was almost like being in a busy bar and bouncing into people that you couldn't get on the phone with or whatever. So like overlay that with SEMA, which again, I don't know the numbers. I just tried like searching it quick, and these numbers seem light to me. Like for a 10 by 10 rental area, it's saying like 2 to 4 grand. I think that's light. Like I've heard 10, 15, 20 grand for just a small little corner that nobody even fucking goes to, right?
Well, the thing is like that might be your spot. Then you got to pay if you need internet access, if you need electricity access, if you need carpet, if you need,
All a la carte.
like, once you start hitting all those things, then you got to build your booth, transport your display, have all
Yeah.
the pamphlets and the everything else. Like I remember doing them when I worked in the education market and hitting all like the education shows, and it was like unbelievable the amount of spend. Like the building out the booths
Yeah.
alone, like for some of those displays, like you really want to make sure that you get something that can go together and be taken down like Carney style and last you a while, because
Yeah.
like if it only lasts you one event, like you're burning money.
Yeah. Yeah. So true. Well, then, you overlay that with the, I guess, the more difficult sign up that they put out there, which, it's a vetting process, right? Like they want to make sure that if you're going to charge whatever it is, hypothetically 10 grand, let's say for a 10 by 10 rental piece of carpet that you bring your own booth for, you pay 10 grand for that. You want to make sure you're not just getting like, Billy Joe from fucking grade 10 that doesn't have a pot to piss in, rolling through SEMA. Oh yeah, I'll cut a deal with you. I need your wheels. It's like, yeah, no, like we don't want a lot of that. We want, good, not, not that Billy Joe's not good, but you know what I mean? Quality, vetted people, so that, yeah, the whole cohesive idea of this thing can come together. And, you can get industry, two industries rubbing elbows and collaborating and whatever, growing the automotive industry, right? So,
Yeah.
but I know like anybody that I've ever had that's gone, like I've never ever known anyone personally that has had some sort of display. It's always just kind of in the format that you guys are going, right? Just to cruise around. Um, but yeah, like they kind of operated off the same program you guys did, where it's like, yeah, somebody's got a shop or a whatever that gets you the in, and then everybody's kind of piggybacking off that
Yeah.
one guy. Not to say that they weren't there for the right reasons, but you know what I mean? You got to have some sort of checks and balances, or how do you justify this big outlay of cash?
Well, not only that, but like even in my case, right? Um, I'm one guy,
Yeah,
and by having Lewis knows me well enough. Like it is truly a consultant operation during that time, because there's no way I can go around and look at everything and see everything and talk to everyone. At least it's
true.
like me and Lewis have the same interests. It's like, okay, Lewis, you go to that air ride guy. I'm going to go to like this air ride guy, or you go check out that guy. And then at least,
Yeah,
um, I mean, there's a benefit there.
you're
And
almost covering double ground.
yeah, exactly. So, but I think like I get the whole vetting thing, but at the same time, like they should be a little bit, I don't know, mindful of it. It should be easier to register employees, and not like it was pretty much like
Mhm.
trying to re-register a business for every single person. And like, you don't need your employee, not all employees need to know, how much annual revenue and everything that you're putting in just to apply to get your SEMA pass. Like it just
Yeah,
seemed extra. And maybe that's because they changed systems and they didn't, it's sort of like it needs the parent, like the company, and then, or like the owner, and then like children underneath the hierarchy, to be able to register a little bit more easily. But yeah, it should be a good time. it's one of those things, like, you don't need to do it every year. And I think I probably will be there next year, because the whole, my understanding is the Martin Brothers build will be showcased there next year.
Oh yeah,
And
cool.
yeah, so we'll see how it goes. If Vegas is Vegas,
What?
man, I'll throw a couple hundy in the slots, hopefully win big, and
Yeah,
yeah, retire.
maybe stick around for a little while.
Yeah.
What are accommodations like? Do they ramp up, or is Vegas one of those places that's a little bit immune to that, where it's like it's always busy in Vegas kind of thing?
No, it does ramp up for SEMA. Like, it brings a lot of people in. Like, again, going to that like whole magnitude. You could probably Google what the um, attendee rate or whatever, how many people it brings in annually to the show. But I've learned to do things quite early, and I've sort of learned the whole how Vegas sort of operates ordeal.
Yep.
So they like it when you gamble, and you don't need to gamble a lot. If you just gamble a little bit, you get sign up for your MGM rewards and all that. Typically, what'll happen is that, I forget what it is. It's like 60 days after you've been and you've stayed and you've done whatever, they'll throw you like a crazy booking deal.
Okay.
So usually what I'll do is, as soon as that comes through, which will probably come through in like January or something, I'll book that crazy deal for SEMA of the next year. And like, you can do it with no, because when you book early enough, you don't need to like pay anything up front. You just kind of throw your credit card on,
To
lock
hold
it
it.
in, and you get free cancellation like up to like the day before if you want, if you do it that early. And yeah, so get pretty good deals in that sense. And we've just learned we always stay at the Bellagio, just right in the center of the strip. You get free shuttle to and from SEMA all day long, and just kind of easy access to things. And I guess it just, having first gone when I was living in Dubai, that was the standard, and I never
Right.
left that. It
Yeah.
probably never will. And dude, there's this fucking like little morning bakery shop that makes the best breakfast. It's like $20, mind you, but
Right.
it's just one of those things. When in Vegas, right? Yeah, that's like, just so like, I've got it down pat. I know exactly which tower I want to stay in. I know where my breakfast spot is. I know where the speakeasy is hidden inside the Bellagio. So yeah, we're good.
You're set.
Yeah.
So, couple Vegas stories for you. So I've been to Vegas, I don't know, 3 or 4 times maybe. And I think I mentioned to you here recently, maybe it was last pod, that I haven't been in quite a while. But my very first time I ever went, so I'm going to university in the States, and my brother calls me and says, "Hey, what are you doing for spring break?" And I said, "Oh, I don't know. I'll probably head back home, say hi to mom, whatever." He's like, "Guy, grow a set of nuts. Like, fuck, you're in the States going to school. Like, spring break is the time. Like, you need to go somewhere cool, right?" And I'm like, "I don't know. I hadn't really thought much about it." And he's like, "Don't move. Don't go home. I'll be down shortly." And he was going to university up in Canada. I'm like, "Oh, fuck. I'm never going to see him, right?" Dude, in like 14 hours, he showed up at my house at like 2 in the morning. He's like, "Get in. You're driving. I'm sleeping. It's been a long ride." I'm like, "Where are we going?" He's like, "Vegas." I'm like, "Fuck, are you kidding me? Really?" "Yeah, we're doing it." So we did. Hit a gas station. He buys a box of beer. He gets about 6 or 7 into him going down the road, passes out on me, and just leaves me to sleep, or leaves me to drive. And we started this drive at 2 in the morning, right? So sun comes up. I'm still like, I'm squinting, can't really see, pull in to some truck stop, sleep in his car. He had a Nissan Maxima, but it wasn't, well, it was a pretty cool car. It was actually a little, maybe it was even a 6 speed, if I'm being honest. Pretty peppy, and it was new. And this was probably 2004. No, 2003 or 4. And it was only like a year old. So it was a nice little car, went like a raped ape and comfortable to ride in. So we pulled in, slept in this thing. Next night, I want to say we might have made it to Vegas the next day, actually, and no room for sleeping. It was like, where can we find cheap accommodations and where's the closest bar? And neither of us had ever been to Vegas before. But college days, barely had enough money to like make it there on fuel, let alone did we know what we were getting ourselves into at the bar at like $18 a drink, right? So stayed at this crack shack, and dude, when I say crack shack, I mean it had razor wire around the fucking concrete wall of the hotel. I couldn't even tell you where this place was. It was somewhere between New Vegas and Old Vegas. I know that much. Yeah. Anyway, we ripped on it for a couple of days. I'm trying to remember the one bar. It's at the time it was known for being like a bit of a rooftop patio. You almost went to the top floor, and it was just off the strip. And I think it got made famous through like MTV or something. Maybe it was a Playboy bar or something to that effect. At any rate, got up there one night, had enough money to buy like 2 drinks type thing. But anyway, where this story gets interesting is we had no intention of doing this, but we thought, okay, Vegas has been kind of cool, but it's expensive and we still need like money to get our asses home. What's the deal with this Lake Havasu, Arizona place, right? Like, let's look this up and see how far it is. Long story short, we drive down to Havasu. Never been there before, nothing. We roll into town, looking for a hotel. We find a place that says vacancy, pull in, get a room. And the gal's telling us the story. She goes, like, you guys are in the right place. I can't even believe that we have any vacancy, in all honesty, because this is the bar, or this is the hotel with the bar down below that got famous through MTV Spring Break like a couple of years ago. Yeah, it's some bar, Kokomo's or something it was called. We're like, no shit. Yeah, and funny enough, I don't know why my system's doing this to me, but all we have is these suites available, and it's saying they're like $129 a night. We're like, fucking rights, let's do this, So anyway, we get the room, we get all gussied up that night. We go down to the bar, and my brother at the time had a silk screen and embroidering kind of side racket that he was doing, right? And he had this brand called Empire, and it kind of pertained to like the skateboard, snowboard type stuff. So anyway, he brought a bunch of this shit down there with him, and he thought, fuck it, I'll bring it to the bar. I'll give some of this stuff away and kind of promote the brand. Well, we end up running into some like pro snowboarder or something in the bar, and his buddy's grandma or something had died and left him this house on the lake, great big boat, whatever. He goes, yeah, we got a keg on the boat. You guys are more than welcome to come on it. And we're going to, after the bar closed or whatever, we'll get on the boat. We'll go out to the house my grandma left me. I'm like, yeah, fuck it. We got nothing better to do. Let's do it. So we get on this boat. It is like blacker than the inside of a cow. You can't see your hand in front of your face, right? Like when the sun goes down in the desert, it's dark. We're going down the water. We go under it's actually the old London Bridge. They like dismantled it in London and brought it to Havasu and rebuilt it or whatever. And it's kind of a channel. So you're slowly going through there. Anyway, and we're all underneath in the cabin having drinks and carrying on while this guy we just met's driving us through like literally black midnight. Anyway, with time's going on, we're like, shit, when are we going to get there, right? So I went back up top to the helm and I said, hey, dude, like, are we going to open this thing up and get where we're going? Yeah. Now's a pretty good time. We're through the channel. He opens her up. So I go back down below and we're again sipping away on drinks, whatever. And all of a sudden, dude, we stop dead from some, I don't know, let's say probably 30-mile-an-hour plane on top of water. We all kiss the front of this cabin of this boat. Everybody's fucking up against it. We can't see nothing, so we don't know what's happened. we just met all these people. It's just me and my bro. One dude's freaking out. I can't swim. I don't know what we're going to do. I'm like, just calm down. There's no water coming in yet. Like, let's see what happened here. Right. So we pull ourselves off the front of the cabin window, walk upstairs. Fucking guy hit shore at like 30 mile an hour. Yeah. Like we're beached. We're up fucking 25 feet on shore. Right. Somewhere I have a photo of my brother like hunched over, pissing himself laughing at the back of a boat that's completely out of the water. And all you can see is the prop and the back of the boat hanging out on shore. Yeah. Thank God he had a full keg on the boat because we had nowhere else to go. So we just drank beer on shore once we beached this boat. Yeah. Got rescued the next day, back to the hotel. I think we even went to the bar that night. We had another night and then raced our way all the way back home.
So you hit just like you lucked out and got, well, I guess you're like desert area, but like, so like no trees, no
nothing. Like I think if I remember right, because this is going back over 20 years ago now. If I remember right, I want to say it might have been like a bit of an island type thing that we smoked. You know, like, yeah, we beached that boat. Like, I wish I knew more of the story. Like, what happened? How'd you get it off there? Like, where are these people now? But I have no idea. Couldn't even tell you their names. We met them that night.
Good story.
Yeah.
I'm curious. Do you have a picture of any of like this Empire logo?
Yep, I do actually. You know what's funny? Shit. Was it when we were talking to the Asylum boys and I brought up that picture of Vanilla Ice?
Yeah.
So that was when my bro had that that company, Empire, or whatever they called it. That was all part and parcel of us getting in there and getting to meet Vanilla Ice, and all the rest of it was so not only did he make his own clothing, whatever, logo, brand, whatever you want to call it, they were also making clothes for the bar that Vanilla Ice was performing in that night. So it was through that connection that we even had this this opportunity. But yeah, let's open this up. They had quite a few different logos and stuff. Like there was this one that was made out of $100 bill. This one was an Empire logo. Actually, this was one of the star
so the
things.
E's backwards on the end. The reason why it just triggered my memory is because a good friend of mine, I swear, used to get some clothes from this dude out west that had like this clothing brand, and he'd send him all this fucking shit. And I was just like, wonder what the chances are that that'd be your brother. That somehow my buddy like was like anything that was like the latest and greatest fucking skater gear.
He was into.
On it. Yeah. So
I wonder. That'd be funny, dude.
Yeah, it'd be like a super small world.
I've actually got a coat that I can't bring myself to throw out. I don't know what the style of these coats are, but it's kind of like a satin, almost like 80s, 90s baseball kind of coat. Snap, button up in the front. And then it's got like the tighter wrist opening, but it's like blue and white striped almost. And then even around the neck, it's not like a foldable collar. It's almost just like an elasticy blue and white thing. I don't know what they were kind of a puffy coat with a tighter around the waist thing.
Gotcha.
I
think I know what I'm trying to envision it.
I think it's kind of almost like an old school baseball-y theme kind of thing.
Yeah, that's what I envision.
Yeah. Yeah, it's got Empire across the kind of back shoulders and like a breast logo on it or whatever. I still got it. And I'm like, fuck, I'm never going to wear this thing, but I just can't bring myself to get rid of it, right?
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. Yeah, it was kind of neat. Like I remember there was some people that they got their clothes on. There was actually a band by the name of Tupelo Honey. in the 90s that shit, I'm going to draw a blank on the name of the other band that they would kind of like compete with. Shit, it might come to me. But anyway, this was in like, you know, the Bush kind of rock, grungy type era. Anyway, this dude, Matt was the lead singer's name. Great guy, got to know him, but it was all through my brother and this kind of clothing racket they did, right? I'll never forget, we went camping with Matt one time, and it was, we were old enough where like people were kind of pairing off, maybe one or two people had a kid kind of thing. So we're in our early to mid 20s, no, mid to late 20s. Anyway, we go camping for May long weekend, right? And it's, as we said when we did our last May long pod, right? It's like the Canadian May long weekend previous to the Memorial weekend is typically cold in Canada, right? So we all get there and it's cold. Everybody's got flannels on, hoodies, whatever. Well, this Matt, lead singer of Tupelo Honey, shows up, and this kid, true rock star, right? Tattoos everywhere. He gets out of the truck, no shirt on, right? Fuck the coat. He doesn't even have a shirt on. And all the gals are kind of like, who is this scrawny little rugrat, right? Anyway, day carries on. Everybody gets to day drinking and doing their thing. And that night, Matt shows up to the fire with an acoustic guitar, right? And you can kind of see all the girls doing the, no way this scrawny little rat knows how to sing or play guitar, right? Well, this guy's got the voice of an angel, right? Like just fucking. So guys are getting tired because they're shit faced from drinking all day. And they're like, hey, hon, I'm going to bed. Yeah, I'll be in later. See ya, kind of thing, right? And Matt's over there just signing titties, like killing it at the fire, you know? So yeah, the next day at breakfast, all the girls are like, isn't Matt lovely? We're like, fuck you guys, right? Like, if I could play a guitar, this would be a different story. You know what I mean?
Oh,
Unbelievable.
too funny.
But yeah, they got in with a bunch of those different crews and whatever. Yeah, they kind of pertain to the, I don't know, snowboardy kind of skateboard rock kind of crews, right? So yeah, it was neat. The one, he partnered up with another fella and he actually still does it. The I guess the logos changed or morphed over the years. They're kind of more of a graffiti thing now. But yeah, it's actually still rocking and rolling. Empire.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, I used to go over and help them because they'd get these like big bar orders for, say, like Calgary Stampede or something. And during Calgary Stampede, for anyone out there that's never heard about it, like the city of Calgary, which when I lived there, it was always crowding about 1 million people. And then you would get like literally an influx of another 1 million people just for Calgary Stampede. It's huge, right? And the bars get super busy. They set tents up all over town. It's just a free for all. Anyway, my bro would get these clothing orders for the bars because they ultimately hire like 3 or 4 times the staff, right? And so anyway, leading up to Stampede by a week and a half or two, he'd start getting these orders rolling in, and that poor bastard would sit there till he had like carpal tunnel, screening shirts and skirts and whatever else they ordered. So anyway, I'd go over there and drink beer with them and help them out, screening shirts, and their embroidery machine, it was running till it was smoking hot. But yeah, it was kind of a neat little deal, right? To just kind of be in the circle of or whatever, the draft of. They had a lot of fun with it.
No doubt. Yeah, I don't know, I've kind of always liked the whole clothing and design thing. If I had enough
Mm-hmm.
money to burn and throw at it, I'd probably want to partake a little bit more. But like, man, it's even hard enough just for,
Our
I
shit.
mean, yeah, the shit that we have and trying to find something that's a proper fitting t-shirt than trying to source out proper fabric and all that other stuff. Like it even makes me wonder like how some of these companies like small ones that are starting out, right? Like you'll see like crazy embroidering on a t-shirt or whatever, and it's like, fuck, like who the hell did you find to do that? And actually
Yeah.
that's how I started getting my stuff done, was through that other company, the Triple OG, because like they had some really cool different styles and textures and stuff like that. But yeah, like some of these shirts that you see and people are like, oh man, it's $100 for that t-shirt or whatever. Like I could see how it's $100 for a t-shirt when you start getting into embroidery or fancy extra tags or, you know, this,
Yeah.
that, or the next thing. And then like, yeah, you got to throw volume at it to get
Yeah.
the price per unit down too. So it's a
Yeah.
commitment for sure.
I think to do it properly, you would have to get your ass on a plane, get over to Asia,
Yeah.
and spend probably a couple weeks, almost treat it like SEMA. Like, we're going to put a lot of miles on, might want to get a new pair of shoes before we start this endeavor. And we're banging on doors, we're whatever, collecting business cards, doing the thing. And then, like you say, now you got some substance. Like, you got the actual shirt. You're not just slapping your shit on a Gildan, you know? Um, and then chances are you can probably get them like literally done there. You're not just buying the shirts and then getting them done somewhere else. And you get the ability or whatever to like kind of take advantage of that cheaper manufacturing costs. There was actually a guy, I got onto him kind of late in the game when I was still doing the corporate deal, but he used to come through Calgary, and I want to say he called himself like the Asian tailor, or it was something like that. And anyway, he'd come through, always rent a really nice kind of suite style hotel room. Um, and then he'd have a couple people in there working, got the measuring tapes out, right? And they would doctor you all up, measure you up, and you could buy tailored shirts and suits and whatever else you wanted from them for like cheaper than you could buy something off the shelf at Tip Top Tailors. And it's, got your name in the whatever coat pocket, all the official stuff that you'd pay like big money for, but you could just do it through this like Asian connection. And it was always really nice stuff.
Yeah, that's one thing that was nice about Dubai, was the whatever little Indian shops of tailors that you could go to. And yeah, completely different version of me in those days, right? Like it, whenever I'm in a situation that requires something, i.e., dress code or to look nice, and it's like, okay, I'm going to go all in. So
Right.
yeah, I was the asshole with like, yeah, all the three-piece different vests and this and that. And uh man, it was amazing because like I'd get like the pinstripes and like make sure, because that's the sign of like a really good um stitcher, whatever,
Taylor.
tailor, is, you know, if they can line all the stripes up
Yeah.
at the seams and like flow it through to make sure that everything looks good. And then of course, yeah, you get like your, and I don't even remember, it was like super 100, super 200s, whatever. Like you'd get up into like all these different fabrics that just kind of like
Thread counts.
thread
Yeah.
counts. And but like that was important in Dubai, like stuff that, you know, would actually allow you to breathe in
Yeah.
120 degrees and not feel like you're wrapped up in like a raincoat or saran wrap or some shit. But yeah, same thing. I'd get custom logos done and all the cuffs of my shirts that I had made, and yeah, inside the suits. And it
Yeah.
was kind of fun in its own way.
You know what? I agree. And for anybody out there that hears this and, maybe you've never had a suit on, or you could give two shits, and I'm in the same boat nowadays, but if you haven't experienced that, especially from the custom made, like this thing's literally made for you. So regardless of your shape, you're built like a bowling pin, or you're built like an upside down pyramid, whatever it is, like this thing fits you like a fucking condom, like perfect. From what I can remember, those old things. Anyway, yeah, they like they build it for you. So I mean, it's like having a set of custom 3-piece wheels built for your car, the offset, the everything, right?
Yeah.
It's that in clothes, and there really truly is something about putting it on, like you put that shirt on, and before you've even got the cuffs buttoned or the whatever regular buttons buttoned up, you're like, this thing kind of went like thunk when you put it on. Like, this is built for me, you know?
Yeah.
There's really something about it for sure.
Yeah, just the whole experience is kind of neat, right? Like, cause you'll go in
Yeah.
there and it's whatever. Here's some coffee or water or juice or like, and then there it's all fresh squeezed juices and stuff like that. I'm sure if you ask for special tea, you might get a beer. Um, and like, it's just, I don't know, I guess it's like a chick going to the spa or a chick getting
Yeah.
fitted for a wedding dress. But like the problem was I was in there every other month, fucking just like, oh yeah, I need this color and I want that pattern and I need this and I need that. And I think that was the cool thing about like, is like labor and like being able to do that stuff was actually quite affordable. Like when I would come back to the US and look at the cost of suits off the shelf, I'm like, I get
Yeah.
a whole suit, including like 3 shirts made for the cost of a jacket.
Yeah.
Like it was unreal. And like custom furniture, even in my apartment, it had like crazy angles, the way that some of the walls and the glass and everything met up. So it was, I got guys to come in, they took measurements and like made custom bar tables, custom like shelving units and stuff like that. And it's like, just kind of like perspective, right? Because it's just like most people think you just got to go and buy something out of a catalog or just go to IKEA or whatever else. And so that was cool. That was really neat. Whereas here, yeah, like that's, I don't know, it'd probably be, I know
Couple
why we go to
thousand.
IKEA here. I'm an IKEA goer now these days, or fucking Costco or something, because anything
Yeah.
custom is unattainable or different
Yeah.
tax bracket.
I got a buddy actually that I used to, we didn't work together, but we were both in the oil and gas industry and kind of in similar service sectors. So ran into each other a lot. And I seen him recently. He's maintained course in that world, done very well for himself. And he was telling me that, he was losing some weight, and we got talking about shirts and clothes and this and that. And he's like, yeah, I've actually found this guy local here. I'm like, oh, fuck. I can't even imagine the price. He's like, this is the thing, right? Like, it's not cheap. And that's kind of the trend with North America, right? Like, we've just almost at breakneck speed, we've gotten ourselves to a point of just where we price ourselves out of the market. Because he was
Yeah.
telling me, like, yeah, this guy's even making me jeans, right? And he goes, you just can't beat him. And he goes, granted, I'm paying like a king's ransom for a pair of fucking jeans. But for me, and he's like a 280-pound fella, and you kind of got to look good, look the part, whatever. He's like, I bite the bullet. But he goes, God damn it, to those things. They're unreal to put on, you know, versus buying something off the shelf. So I know there's probably some eye rolling going on out there, folks, to the listeners. Like, just trust both of us on this. You know what I mean? If you ever have the opportunity to get something like that custom made, do yourself a favor and do it, especially if it's cheap, like one of these Asian or Middle East or whatever outfits. Um, there's really something to be said about, like Chris was saying, that little, like, I don't know, it's kind of a guy's way of being pampered, right? Like, they're looking after you. You want a drink? You want a whatever? And you're like,
Dude, it was
yeah,
like my weekly car wash. I leave work. It was literally like footsteps, like 100 meters away from the parking lot. Drop the car off, full like pressure wash, um, hand wash, rinse, inside, outside, whatever. It was literally, I think it was $12. And right
really?
beside that was a little barber shop, 3 chairs, 2 little Indian guys at all times, right? And straight razor shave. And they got the little scissors, fucking evening everything out and doing the thing. Um, Literally $10.
No kidding.
So like for $20, at the end of the week, my car's washed and my friggin' beard's cut straight, and obviously it didn't have as many gray in it and all that others, and head shaved, head
Yep.
shaved with the razor, everything else. And like I just every single time, like they must have loved me, but I was like, fuck, like this would be $50. Like I don't even know how much it'd be now, but like because like now here they won't
If
even
you can
touch it
find
with a
it.
straight razor, right? So
Yep.
$50 minimum. These guys are charging 10. I just hand them like 100 dirham bill, which was like 27 bucks. I'm like, I don't even fucking care, because at least at that point when I walk in, it's like they're almost kicking people out of the chairs to have me in there. And you know what I mean? Like good value is like a state of mind, or getting a good deal is a state of mind. And to me, that was just unreal. And that was the best. Those were the best parts. You know what I mean? Fresh squeezed
Yeah.
juice from the little market. You want mango, you want like shit, even avocado, all that stuff. Like, dude, like $3. Like,
Unreal.
I don't know what it is now. I'm kind of curious, like if inflation's hit over there, but I kind of have a feeling that it's probably like a lot of stuff is still cheaper than what it would be here. Like even buying beer or having drinks and stuff like that.
Yeah. I know it really does change the atmosphere of the situation that you're in when there's good value for like good quality, whatever, right? I've said that for years about we used to go down to Whitefish, Montana a lot. There was a hockey tournament we'd go to every year. It's a funky little place in Montana with a beautiful lake, and all kinds of breweries, bars, whatever. You could go down there, and I mean, it's probably an hour at most, I guess, from the Canadian border. So they get a ton of Canadians down there. They would cater to the Canadians so much so that they would like take Canadian money at par at the bar. You're entering the. Oh, that was weird.
I don't know what happened. My internet had full bars and it kicked me out. And then it's like, you don't have internet. Now you do have internet. And boom, here I am. But it looked like there was two of me for a second.
There was. I'm like, there's a glitch in the matrix. I'm looking at Chris telling him a story and then he's popping in. What? No, there's two Chris's? Okay, I don't know where you cut off, but anyway, this Whitefish, Montana, catering to Canadians because it was so close to the border. They take Canadian money at par at the bar. And not only that, I mean, just getting a drink at this one bar, the Bulldog, it was called, it is like $1.50 a beer. You know what I mean? And the atmosphere that created, especially for us Canadians spending Canadian money down there, like you can't even buy a fucking can of Coke for $1.50 up here. And we're buying beer. It's like it completely changes everything. Like, no, I got this round, guys, right? Like it just the whole thing. And not only that, I mean, you'd because we're used to spending like 20 fucking dollars for a beer up here, you'd go to get $1.50 beer and just give her $5 because you're like, it's still cheaper than what I pay at home. So everybody wins when there's good value, you know?
Oh.
It really, yeah, changes everything instantaneously.
I want to say my cousin Jeff said there's a restaurant in Detroit that, like, on a Tuesday or a Wednesday takes Canadian at par to,
Really?
yeah, to attract all the customers there, which, ironically enough, right, like stuff in the, well, yeah, no, that would be good, because I was gonna say, yeah, because the prices are like the same despite the currency exchange. So yeah, it's always like if you're an American going to Canada, you're always getting like a 40% discount right now. But yeah, so that'd be really good value going the other way right now.
Big time. Yeah, I always think this whenever we talk about this type of stuff. I'm like, I'm sure there's at least one or two people out there that are kind of like, what the fuck are they talking about? Right? Because like maybe you've never been to Canada, or you've never been out of the country and you don't know that currencies have different values. And the one that we pay the most attention to, obviously, Canada and the US. There's been, I want to say like maybe two, for sure, two times, maybe three, where Canadian money was worth more or it was worth equal value to the US dollar. And one of those times was not too long ago. Like it was right after the big housing crisis, 08, right?
Yep.
Yeah, the Canadian dollar was for a short period of time there stronger than the American dollar. I remember Canadians going nuts, man. Like everybody was going down to buy trucks, boats, quads, whatever, right? Because the United States, believe it or not, I know like depending on the state you're in, everybody's feeling this in different, severities. But relatively speaking, Canada has always been, the cost of living has always been more expensive than the United States. And this isn't factoring in exchange, just dollar for dollar. It's been more expensive. So whenever we have this opportunity where the dollar's either equal or worth more than the American dollar, there is really good value to be had. Like I remember guys, so that was 08. At the time, I remember like a proper ski or wakeboard boat around that time was like a little bit north of 100 grand up here. Like it was probably in around that 120 mark for a brand new like Mac Daddy, whatever ski boat. Down in the States, they were like 50, 60, 70. You know what I mean? Like, so you can literally walk down there and save yourself 50% by buying a boat, you know?
Yeah.
That's all
Well,
gone out the window now.
even the whole auto market too, right? Like I remember
Yeah.
people, actually my buddy got his Viper truck south of the border and brought it up, and it was right as like they started catching on to it, because then like warranties started coming so into play where they're
Yeah.
like, oh, if you do that, you're voiding your warranty by exporting it.
Yeah.
And all these
Dodge
other,
was always cunty about that
yeah.
for whatever reason.
Yeah, so he had to
And
go back to the US to get any warranty work done.
well, and it's such, I mean, it always seems to me that Canadians have a little bit of a broader understanding of all this than especially folks like way down south, right? Because I mean, the Canadian border may as well be Russia. You know what I mean? It's so far away. So you don't ever think or pay attention to it. But like when you're in Canada, where most of Canada does, like the population reside very close to the US border, and it affects us massively, right? In so many ways. So we pay attention to these things. But then when you think about like the area you grew up in, which is, pretty much on the border there of Detroit, Motor City, right? And you've got Windsor and Detroit. And for whatever reasons, ones that we all guess about, I don't know if anybody ever knows, but I'm sure there was economies of scale and like cost saving measures that were considered back in the day when they're like, hey, let's open the new plant up in Windsor right across the river and we'll keep headquarters over here, or vice versa. They did all this shit. So whenever I hear stories like this, I'm like, what a fucking joke. Like us as Daimler Chrysler or whatever the fuck their name is, we're going to void your warranty. Like, let's not forget that the car was probably built in Canada first, sent to the US, then it was brought back to Canada, and now you're going to tell me the warranty's no good? Get fucked. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just so ridiculous.
Oh, it is.
I don't know.
Oh.
That stuff has always driven me crazy. It's like, I don't know, just because of an imaginary line and politics and all this bullshit, it's like, come on, what are we doing here?
Well, with that said, for anybody who is south of the Canadian border and is interested in a Foxbody, the market's really good in Canada right now for US buyers. I'll just throw that out there, between currency exchange and the fact that the economies of Canada aren't the greatest at the moment, and it's going in the car storage season and everything else. So if you're
True.
looking for that certain ride, I know of a nice strawberry convertible in the background there, although you are asking American pesos for that.
Well,
Yeah.
that's the funny thing. It's actually a really good example is like American money, it is considered a very fair price. Canadian money, Canadians are like, nope, not
Yeah.
considering it. Right? Like, so just this invisible hypothetical exchange thing that we all agree upon for this paper money shit that we all value, in one country, it's a good deal. In another country, it's a shit deal. Just because of that. That's really, the more you think about it, the more you really wonder,
Yeah. Oh,
Dude. Okay, I wonder if we're thinking the same thing. Green Coupe?
okay. So there's that, but I also wanted to talk about the this Reef GT that I picked up because that was a good Canadian buy. And I don't know if I told you, maybe I did in a voice note. So Kevin's driving, and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to go through this folder of paperwork that came with this car. So, like, I'd gone through it quickly in the summer when I was there when I first saw the car. I was more concerned about was the paint, look original and all the VIN stickers and all that. And then there was this folder of paperwork that I saw a Marty report, I saw a Carfax report, and the original window sticker and all that other stuff. So, I just kind of took it upon myself. I'm like, well, let's see what else is in here. So find somebody, whoever, because this car got around, amazingly enough. So for
Yeah.
the 11,000
Low mileage.
miles that were on it at the point of when I purchased it, I think it had 7 owners.
Wow.
And so the
Was
car
it an American car originally?
it was. So it was
Okay.
originally sold in Missouri. And
Hmm.
from Missouri, it went to Wisconsin. From Wisconsin, went to Ohio, Ohio to Illinois, Illinois to Alberta,
Oh my.
and then Alberta to Ontario. And amazingly enough, there was a copy of the title for each one of these states except for Alberta. And somebody had this little sheet of, okay, here, this is the first owner. They owned it from here to there. And here's the second owner, and like updated names and a couple phone numbers jotted down. Like somebody went through and was like really trying to document everything, which I thought was kind of neat. So, I kind of make the joke to Kevin because I'm like looking at all these titles and I'm like, well, shit, we just drove through Ohio. We just drove through a little bit of Illinois. Now we're
Right.
in Missouri. I'm like, we're kind of like backtracking the way that this car went. So we're driving through St. Louis and we were supposed to go, I forget the name of the town, but it was like not your typical interstate road. It would have been like a windy ordeal that would have been like kind of going into the Ozarks, which probably would have been like some, going into windy shit, like going into Pigeon Forge or whatever.
Yeah.
And we're like, well, we're going to be hungry. We don't know how much life is going to be in that area. So, Kevin starts looking up hotels. I'm like, well, if we go the other way, we don't go that way, where can we go? So he's like, oh, we can go to this town called Fetus. I'm like, Fetus? He's like, nah, it's like Festus, but I'm going to call it Fetus, And so I'm like, man, I'm kind of full still from lunch. I'm like, how about we just get like Smoothie King or some shit, see if there's one there. And
Avoid the fetuses.
yeah. So yeah, we stop, we get gas. We stop at Smoothie King, and then we're like, okay, well, we're not going to the other joint. Let's get a little bit more driving in, and we'll find a good spot to stay. So I forget what town it was, but so we get about 10 minutes on the road, and as we were going into Festus, I saw like all dealerships are all kind of fucking together and stuff.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, let me see who the DSO was for this car. I pull out the window sticker, fucking Ford Festus.
No kidding.
I'm like, dude, we got to fucking turn around and get a picture of this car in front of the dealer that it was sold at.
Yeah.
And he's like, fuck off. It's not. And I'm like holding it up in his face with like, the dome light on, as he's driving. And so I'm like, hold on, let me Google it and see how far it is. So the bad news was that dealer is no longer. Like, it used to be like on Main Street, and now it's just, I don't know, like fucking laundromat or whatever.
Parking
I
lot.
couldn't
Yeah.
tell. Yeah, so I'm like, nah, abort mission. But I was like, man, how cool is that? That
No
kind
doubt.
of geeked out for a minute there in the whole Foxbody thing. But yeah, very very cool. So
That is.
yeah,
Yeah, that is kind of weird that car has had as many owners as it has, but the low odometer, I mean, I
and you
guess
know
maybe
what?
each
I
owner
gotta
was just
say, yeah, like I think rightfully so. The first owner, you know what I mean, you never know which way that's going to go. A lot of miles, not so many miles. Um, I want to say the most mileage that would have been put on most likely was by the Alberta owner. I think they
mm,
took it from like 7,000 up to 10 or something like that. And then the Ontario, it was bought by like a collector car place out of Ontario, and they threw it up in auction, which is how the gentleman bought it that I got it off of, and he didn't put hardly anything on. So yeah, all the good news is that between everything, all the odometers checked out, and it was funny actually. There was an inspection one where I think it was for Alberta, and it was saying, customer asked to get inspection to see, if it'll pass safety requirements, and advise customer that it needs daytime running lights in order to pass inspection. Customer declined. I'm like, good on him.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Alberta used to be, well, I know actually Texas is, I, at least if I understand this correctly, gotten a little goofier with vehicles as of the last handful of years. But anyway, Alberta's always been referred to as like the Texas of Canada, right? It's like rootin' tootin', anything goes, whatever. And for the longest time, Alberta was a great place to buy slash curb slash whatever, like, because it was just a free for all of, you could do kind of whatever you wanted, right?
Mm,
And there was no real authorities that were overpowering or, watering that whole thing down. It's since changed. It's,
yeah.
just as bad as every other province now. But yeah, back in the day, I mean, shit, everybody was moving cars on the side, you know.
Yeah.
Um,
So green
it,
coupe.
okay, have you heard? It sold.
I I saw it said sold for, they just said more than six figures or
Yeah.
above six figures.
I want to say, who did I hear this from now? Actually, I think it's Calypso Coyote. He's been on the dig on all this, and I want to say he said, uh, I heard it sold for $140.
Hmm.
Yeah. I mean, this was hot enough, ladies and gents, for anyone out there wondering. Me, Chris, and the infamous Donkey Fix It have a little group chat going, right? And I mean, this was hot enough. Well, you had mentioned too, right? Like I had the story all cross threaded, but he was on the hunt and like was trying to like whatever figure out what was going on with this car because he saw that this could be a proper deal after the whole bring a trailer event and whatever else. But anyway, yeah, he was chatting with us earlier in the week, and shit, I'm trying to think what he said now.
He said it
Not a
was a
big fan
true
of the
rapper
color.
car.
Well, yeah, he kind of went on to say, like, hey, listen, like, rapper in air quotes has different flavors, right? Um, yeah, and to his point, I can't believe we didn't say something about this when we were talking about it. I'm sure we all meant to, but didn't. Like, the fact the center caps on it on the car, come on, right? Like, but Donkey Fix It brought up a good point, and it's something that we would all know, but maybe not think of in the time. It's like, just have a look at the wheel. Like, did they use a plastic remover? Or were they in there with a great big fucking flat blade that's 3 feet long, you know? So little collector car nuances, right? That only Donkey Fix It would think of at the time. But yeah, I think he did throw a number out, right? Like I think he was kind of in that $1.25.
Well, I asked him how much he'd
Or
be
is it
willing to
100?
pay,
Yeah.
and he said 75.
Oh, is that what he said? Right. But he
Yeah.
thought it should get $1.25. Is that what he
I
said?
think he
Shit.
said something like that. Like it would get it, and then I was like, well, most importantly, how much would you be willing to pay for the car? And he sort of was, because I think we had said 70, 80, 75, 80, something like that was sort of, and I think that'd be anybody's fair bet to know that they have an investment that they could come out on top in a short
Right.
amount of time. That's sort of where that lied. Now, somebody paying $140, I don't know. I think you're gonna be sitting on that for a while, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Like, how much further can you go? Like they literally, well, it's not. Well, yeah, it's almost 200 times profit that
Yeah.
they would have made.
Well, and I'd like to think too, like this New Jersey or NJ King Trucking, whatever it is, probably looked at this or, like kind of mathed it out in their head where it's like, okay, this thing is like Donkey Fix It said, it's an all day fare 75. Oh, I don't know. That even sounds crazy to say, right? Because fuck, we still all us old heads think of these things as fucking $3,000 cars. But these days, everything's changed and it's out the window. But so they probably did look at it like that though, and went like, worst case scenario. You know what I mean? Like we're gonna make, yeah, we're pretty much doubling our money here. Like we can't lose. So why not try and triple it?
Well, that's what I mean. Like it, you know what I mean? Beautiful tactic. Get it out there. Get people talking about it, complaining about it. It'll get visibility. Bad PR's good PR, and see if somebody bites. And if nobody
Yeah.
bites, then send it through auction and collect your money. So somebody bought.
Yeah. Yeah. What an interesting animal that one is.
Man, so
It's so funny.
your car's worth like 4 million now.
Shit. And I was just talking to somebody. Oh shit, I should actually pull him up now because he had a lot of really nice things to say about the pod here. Let me see if I can do this real quick. Yeah. Zeus, if you're listening out there, I know you are because he said some really kind things here about us, about how we've kind of helped him. He's one of these fellas, right, that had a really nice car hanging out in the garage, maybe tucked over in the corner, cover on the rollers. And he said that, you know what, he goes, listening to you guys kind of reinvigorated me and got me out there, and he's sent me some pics and stuff, right? He's out there wrenching, and he's buddies with Billy Trammell and a bunch of those boys down south, right? Why did I think of Zeus? Shit. What were we saying there? Fuck. So carried away telling the story.
He said that he
I know.
just had good things to say about the pod.
Yeah. Sorry. The road I was going with this is like the nostalgia memory, which is where my hypothetical idiot number of value comes into the picture, right? Like there's just, I don't know, it'd be like selling a kid or selling your wife. You know what I mean? Like, no matter how much they piss you off, like you just can't put a price on them because they're yours. They're part of you, and it is that like nostalgic thing. I can't help but think, dude, like that's, other than there's a group in the community that, literally look at these things like go fast tools. And I get that, right? Because these cars do check that box. But I think the overwhelming masses of us that love these things, it's nothing more than the nostalgic nature. Like these are your car. You know what I mean? Like they say so much about where we've been, where we're from, the times we've had, everything. you know?
Yeah.
And they literally just kind of become part of your DNA.
Well, it's funny. I had actually, it's been a busy week for consults. I had another gentleman reach out to me and he said, let me give you some context about myself first before I get into what I want to ask you. And he pretty much goes into how particular he is about his collection. And he's into Porsches, BMWs, Benzes, like a lot of Euro stuff. And he's like, they need to be perfect or as close to perfect as perfect can get. Or he's like, I'll just, like, I can't deal with it. So he's like, with that said, he's like, I found LX convertible 5.0 with 2,000 miles on the clock, and it's perfect, and the car is like around 50K or something like that. And he's like, am I crazy for considering that? And, like, well, how bad do you want to mod it? And he really just wanted to, like, going back to what we were saying earlier, like timeless, like very classic things, bolt-on things, like reversible. And so we kind of had a conversation of like, it seems like a lot of money for a Fox, especially in the convertible world of things. However,
and LX convertible to boot.
Yeah. But with that said, there's lots of stuff that you could do quite easily that would make it, look pretty badass. And
so that was kind of like he was discussing or consulting with you because he's considering modding it. Is that sort of where the conversation went?
Yeah, so he wanted to mod it, and then he was trying to see, like, is he dumb for doing it, and is there good value? Because, like, it's like the reality is, if I could find a GT that's of the same caliber, I rather the GT because it's more aggressive. But it's hard enough to have found this car, let alone trying to find a GT. And I'm like, well, if you play your cards right, I'm like, you only got original paint once. If you're telling me that it's flawless and you've seen it in person and it meets all your expectations, I'm like, well, there's 25, 30 grand right there. Like, you're not going to replicate that perfection of paint for anything less than that. I'm like, if, you found something, and depending which way you want to go, I'm like, it'd be really hard to replicate and build what, like, you're talking, if you're not going to open up the motor or deal with any of that, you got a brand new drivetrain. You don't need to, like, nothing to worry about there. The interior is going to be mint. The only real thing is, like, if you want a more classy look, canvas top versus vinyl. And he's like, I don't care. He's like, I'll get a nice canvas boot cover made because he's a top down kind of guy. So long story short, sounded like, for what he wants to do, that price point makes sense and that car makes sense for him. And I said, at the end of the day, if you do it right with the right mods, I'm like, you're probably going to put 10K into it. I don't think it'll be 10K that is poorly spent. I think it would just add value to the car. And then if you find that GT that you want, then whatever, you unload that and you get the GT. So
yeah,
it's weird, right? Like, it just really comes down to the buyer and what they want, and what their goals are.
Yeah. Well, and you know what, dude? Like, I couldn't help but kind of my mind stayed hung up on the whole perfect thing, right? Because, like, your shit, how do I want to say this? Like, okay, let's just agree upon the fact that for the most part, like, this is kind of like the whole mint conversation, right? For the most part, like, I think we can all kind of agree upon those things, right? What's mint, in a roundabout way, what's a 9 out of 10, what's a 1 out of 10, all that. However, then there's kind of a whole nother angle to this, which is like, typically, especially for whatever reason, the psychology in the Foxbody world is we're all our own worst enemies. And I remember going through this before, dragging this thing all the way down to pits, right? And I'm like, oh God, this thing's a rock guard car, like a Canadian. It's got the stipple shit on it. Like, all these goofy little nuanced things that I don't know, like when it's your own, you know, you're extra harder on all those little items, right? And then anyway, you know, we go through fucking 5,000 kilometers of driving and we get down there and you guys all get to see this thing for the first time. It's like, what the fuck are you talking about, guy? Right? Like, so there's almost two approaches to this thing, right? There's mint and then, but there's a whole nother angle, which is like, we're really hard on our own shit. And that's maybe not like, this guy's not going through that because he's in the, well, he's going to buy this car. So he's like extra, you know, fine tooth combing this thing, making sure that it's the right car and it's mint and it's whatever. But once you got it, then this whole new other thing starts to happen, right? And you start becoming your own worst enemy on all these silly little things. Screen Puff Joe, right? He is one of the best ones to talk to about this stuff, right? And I find too, like, the more of the Foxbody community is like this, like it's almost like we're all our own worst enemy. And Joe tells this story the best. It's not a story, but like just kind of the metaphor of it all, where it's like somebody sees your car and they're like, dude, this thing's awesome. And it's like, you don't even let the fucking air move before you're like, no, 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 come over and look at this. Like, it's not that awesome. Okay. There's this,
Yeah.
there's that, all this shit. And it's like, what the fuck are we doing to ourselves here, you know?
Yeah. I was trying to actually explain my silver car to Tom because we were talking about pits, and he's like, "Oh yeah, what are you going to bring?" I'm like, well, "I'm hoping I'm bringing the wrecked Cobra. That's kind of my goal to have it done for then." I'm like, "But if I don't get it done, I'll probably bring the silver Detch because it's been a while since that car's been at a show." And he's like, "Man," he's like, "to be honest," he's like, he's like, "I remember seeing it at Foxtoberfest a number of years ago, but he's like, I never really got to look at it." He's like, "How nice is that car?"
Right.
And I was like, "Well, you saw my white one and you really liked it, right?" And he's like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Well, in my opinion, the yellow car is twice as nice as my white one." And he's like, "Okay, I could see it." I'm like, "The silver one is twice as nice than the yellow one,
Right.
making it 3 times nicer than my white one." And
Yeah.
so he's like, thinking for a minute. He's like, "Okay, I think, yeah, I know what you mean."
Okay. Now, just to add to that, ladies and gentlemen, believe it or not, Chris would fucking sell the silver and the yellow one like at breakneck speed before he sold the white one. Am I right in saying that?
Yeah.
Yeah. And this goes back to the whole nostalgia thing, because the
Yeah.
white
No,
car is the
100%.
one that got away from you, right?
Well, and the white one had like the memories. Like that's the
Yeah.
like the going back. And I guess going to that whole um timeless thing. The coupe I had before that was the silver Detch, my first silver Detch, not the one I have now. And the mistake I did with that car back then is all my trim was painted body color.
Oh.
So I did like the whole quarter window moldings, like windshield trim, like everything was silver because I thought
Oh,
that that was
interesting.
cool back then.
Yeah.
Which, whatever, easy enough to, convert that back if you wanted to. But yeah, no, it's interesting what these cars do, or even whatever. I wiped down the stalker vert here today, and had a couple flashbacks in my head, knowing that Steve will be visiting, and he was around back when I first built that car and everything else. So it'll be
Oh, that old slut's always a crowd pleaser. Jesus.
well, that's what Tom's like,
She's
"Man,
like,
you should bring the stalker vert." He's like, "I want to get all these convertibles together," and I'm like, "Fuck!" I'm like, moving that car is the problem, not that I don't want to show it. I mean, but like
yeah.
that car's got flaws all over it. But to your point, nobody else really seems. I care, but nobody else seems to.
Kate, if I have never referred to the stalker vert in this context, it actually fucking stresses me out a bit that I haven't, because I'm usually pretty quick on my toes. The stalker vert is Stifler's mom. Like 350% Stifler's mom.
Uh, yeah.
You know? Like she's just fucking never let you down, always up for a party, makes all the right noises, looks pretty fucking sweet. Like you might have to change the name. It's no, well, then you got Stifler's like suspension related shit. That doesn't
Yeah.
work. But different context. American Pie, Stifler's. Stifler's mom.
Yeah. Yeah, I actually want to. I was thinking about it. I'm like, wonder if I should try and get that down to Martin Brothers. I've had it there before, like shit, probably 10, 12 years ago. Like it wasn't as low as it is now. I'm like, man, I wonder if I should try and make that journey. I just know there's some construction on the way back with like those raised up manholes. Like there's no way.
Oh,
Like if I went over the center, like I would lose.
you're done.
Yeah. Or I'd be like that, your boat, I'd be beached.
Yeah.
Or like that time where your tube blew up when we went tubing down the Guadalupe there and you were just fucking stuck on the rock, you know?
Dude,
Yeah,
though
that's a car you
anytime
need
I
to know.
see, yeah, anytime I see roads in that condition, it's like nails down a chalkboard for me. When I see those manholes with like 2 inches worth of protrusion, I'm like, oh God, I just like see K members and fucking H pipes mangled.
Yeah. And dude, I don't know, like, and it's funny, right? Like it's some cars look lower than they really are. Some cars are kind of the other way around. And like the stalker vert, I feel like
It's just
it
low in every fucking regard.
it photographs like it's low, but like in person, it's like a different, like, you know what I mean? Like you constantly, like you get your foot, like you're walking around the car and it's like your foot's hitting the front bumper cover, or like,
Right.
um, all like, I just can't even explain it, but like the rear sway bar, the way that those QA1 brackets are, like they're aluminum blocks. And I guess it's on the right angle, but I'm just waiting because those things are probably as close to the ground as the exhaust is. So it's almost like I have Sparks blocks, underneath there if you like look through the side.
Yeah.
So yeah, I want to try and I'm just trying to think, right? Like it's where can I, do some journeys and cruisings and stuff. And it just feels like nothing is ever like last weekend we had a really good car show. Like it's of all years in Taylor. Actually, Taylor is where we did an errand when we were working on the ship box, and I think we went to the grocery store and you got those two big fucking icy drinks or slushies, or I don't
Yep.
know what they were, but so that
Oh yeah.
town, it like the whole square shuts down, thousands of cars roll in. They got the fire truck that's got the beer taps and everything on it, but we had bad weather on the weekend, so we still went, but we took just took Brittany's Range Rover and cruised around. And unfortunately, like the weather scared so many cars away. But like that was like I
Yeah.
was hyped up. I'm like, fuck yeah, like I'll let Kevin drive a car and I'll take a car. And I'm like, no cars in this weather.
Yeah. Yeah. Weather changes everything, eh? Shit. But yet, like so does road conditions. You know what I mean? Like like I don't know, everybody out there listening knows like we all really like these cars and we work really hard to make them whatever extension of us that they are. And like, yeah, you go and catch a fucking manhole cover like that, like, oh my God. Can you
Oh, man.
imagine?
So I had this guy email me this morning and he said, hey, I've got this Dutch car. It was built by Derek Hansen. And I got in an accident and the insurance company doesn't want to pay out because I don't have any of the Dutch paperwork. I'm wondering if you could help me out. I'm like, oh, that's interesting. Like, can you tell me more info? Send me some pictures. And, I just thought like maybe, okay, this isn't too bad. But it's a white Dutch notch and true. Like it's got the ASG on it. So I've just accounted for another ASG out of the 12 that are out there. Like Simmons wheel car, like all the works. And he had the gentleman's name who was originally built for. So it was a car that was tracked and everything. So I knew of the car, just I'd forgotten about it. It had been so long. And he's like, yeah, man, I was going to go to the casket in this thing. And so they branded it irreparable, which means like never back on the road again. So I'm like, dude, that sucks. Like the whole front end's just like shifted over. It looked like a transit van or something like pulled out in front of him and he just smucked it. So yeah, I'm trying to I reached out to Peter to see, if I'm sure Peter will remember the car and hopefully he can do a write up like just stating that
So
it
he's
wasn't
obviously
that.
he's not with Haggerty.
No, and he's like, man, I should have been with Haggerty, and he's actually with Travelers, and he's like, I had an appraisal for 25 grand on the car, and they're only willing to give me 18.
Oh,
Like, and
Jesus.
he's been like fighting back and forth because like, oh, we need receipts. Of course, he like sends pictures of GT40 or like prices, costs of GT40 intakes and like the rear brake setups and like all these things that are still available. And he's like, that's easily $10,000 right there. Like, oh yeah, no, we need to make sure we need something that can validate this whole Dutch thing.
Good grief, dude. Like one of the number one reasons I got out of that fucking racket. Like that stuff just makes my skin crawl, Like
Man,
we
it's
all buy
so,
it.
and I guess, we talked about it with Josh, and the dude who had the little fender bender at Foxtoberfest, and you're sort of saying, power statistics and all this stuff. And,
Yeah.
here this guy is, really rare Dutch coupe. Because there was only a handful of them that were true, like Dutch built cars. And, you know what I mean? Out on the street, probably doesn't drive that car very often, and out someone pulls
Oh,
out in front of them. It's just can
oh
happen,
shit.
man.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, I guess if there's any like good that can come out of this, folks, get your car insured with Haggerty, I want to say actually, so I've never had to pressure test Haggerty, but there has been people that have. I want to say BJ might be one of them. I
Well,
want
even do you remember that convertible that caught fire that I got back
Yeah.
running for the guy? And actually, he was in an irreparable situation that he was protesting. Yeah, that guy paid out, no problem. Never came, like someone just came to assess the car from a title perspective, but paid out.
Confirm or yeah.
The wrecked Cobra that I bought, that's a Haggerty deal.
Right.
Paid out,
And he
no issue. Yeah.
had the cherished salvage value or whatever that endorsement is checked, so you get the car back. Like that's the
Yeah.
thing. I guess we should or whatever clarify that for people. So not only is Haggerty great, they like you have an agreed upon value with Haggerty, and depending on what you want that agreed upon value to be, depends on how many hoops you have to jump through. So if and they're car people, like it's a car insurance company. So, if you rattle off some outrageous number for, say, a Foxbody, outrageous being like $140,000 for a green coupe, they're going to want to see some confirmation, like, because they're not saying, hey, we won't insure it for 140, but we just want to justify the fact that it's worth what it is. That'd actually be an quick sidebar, but we're good for that. That'd be an interesting experiment. I wonder if Haggerty would insure that car for 140K.
I think they would.
Do you?
because yeah, like just knowing what I know, like in my own mini collection of things, um, I'm assuming that whoever bought the cars obviously got a collection and has many others. So they will have passed Haggerty's 500,000 insurable threshold, which gets you into like this whole, it's technically they have like an exotic department, but like
Mm,
if you have enough, insured vehicles or insured value of vehicles, you end up into that,
right.
into that area. And once you're there, and there's a lot of questions once you're in that because they really get into storage. Do you have fire suppression? Do you have security? Do you have emergency evacuation plans for your cars? I shit you not. It's if you know a
Well,
storm's rolling in, do you know where you can bring them or what
well,
you would do in that event? So I think once you sort of can satisfy all of those things, it gives them the peace of mind of, okay, this person knows what they're doing. They know what the value of their vehicles are, at least what it would cost to replace them if they could. And ever since I went through that, because like my silver notch, I had to it was hard when I first insured it. I forget what I was trying to insure it for, but it was over 50, right? Because I'm like, listen, it's a last year car, 12,000 original miles, this, and this. Like, here's what some others have gone for in a similar fashion. And like, it took a little bit of back and forth, but we got the agreed value. Versus now, I called them up and said, hey, I just bought this 93 Reef, whatever, 11,000 original miles, give me 50 grand on it. And they said,
yeah.
yep, no problem.
Fuck, this back kind of makes me think, buddy. I don't know if I got my values where I would like them to be, but um, I should maybe write that down.
So there's
Uh,
also
yeah,
a thing too, just so you know, and Haggerty Canada is different than Haggerty US, but they are a lot of their shit translate and is same because there is something too that if let's say your agreed value is 25
yeah,
and in a year's time you didn't adjust the value but the values of the market has gone up, then they will actually automatically
bump them.
bump them to kind of meet and I don't know if that's like if you have multiple cars or maybe in a different, but it's sort of like that cherish option
Right.
where you get to keep the car in the end. So there's lots of different um yeah, I guess options or like tailor-made policies to suit your
Yeah.
needs through them.
Yeah. I guess maybe just to close a couple loops for folks there, because I started going on a bit of a informational rant. But yeah, first and foremost, one of the best things about Haggerty is you have this agreed upon value where, if you're just rattling off, say, 25 grand, typically there's not a whole lot of hoops you need to jump through. Like Chris was just mentioning for the silver car, they just go, yep, perfect. Because they know the cars, they know where the values are, whatever. If you want to insure for 100 grand, like you said, they're going to pressure test you, right? We need pictures, we need proof, we need whatever. But the best part, in my opinion, which is equally as good, if not better, than the agreed upon value, is that cherished. Fuck, I wish I knew the exact name, but it's something like cherished salvage value or something like that. And it's nothing more than a box that you check. I don't even think it increases the price of your policy. If it does, it's the case of beer cost. You know what I mean? $20. And not only will they give you the agreed upon value if they write your car off, they will give you your car back. And this is one of the biggest things because, I mean, unless you got a body man like Chris does working on the 93 Cobra, you're not just going to take this thing down to the local fucking car star. Like, you know, or you're probably going to do most of it yourself, you
Yeah.
know? So, anyway, if that doesn't, and just for reference too, ladies and gents, Haggerty's not paying us fuck all. If anyone knows anyone at Haggerty and they want to sponsor us, give them our numbers. But I can't say enough good things about them just like from a personal perspective, because even though I haven't had to use them, like I say, I've heard of some people that have. Everybody's got 5-star reviews. it's the only way to go. And fresh off a story like this poor bugger and his fucking white Dutch coupe, Jesus, that's a heartbreaker, man. I feel if you're listening, buddy, we're pouring out a little bit of our 4.0 for you here. Like, that's not good.
Yeah, actually, I've got all my lovely Haggerty, my updated policies just came in, so I want to see the Cherish if it tells me how much it is.
If you're looking at your if you're looking at your front, they usually call that the deck page. God almighty, I can't even remember. I feel sad admitting that I know this. But anyway, front page, deck page, which means declarations page. It's not the following page on that. It's the one beyond that. Be the third page at the top. There's a little box that's checked that says something about cherished salvage value.
Crime prevention, value added endorsement, value added premium. See, they even cover automotive tools, branded merchandise, car covers, personal effects, vehicle valuable papers, accidental airbag deployment, spare parts, vehicle lock, limited vehicle fraud. Like, man, they even give you accidental death benefit.
Pretty hard to fight for your money when you're dead. Okay, I grab mine here real quick. And I will, just so anyone that's out there that's interested in getting this deal, okay. There's endorsements. It should be an endorsement. Well, shit, buddy. Maybe I gave you bad advice on where to find it. Because now I can't even find it.
I know it's ticked for all my cars. Like, you'd think there'd be, I don't know. People are like, listen to these fucking assholes trying to sponsor themselves.
Actually, dude, okay, I'm glad I looked at this because I've only got my green coupe in here for 20 grand.
Canadian?
Yeah.
Oh. Dude, you can't even install that fucking Kenny Bell for 20 grand.
I'm going to have to ramp this thing up to 140 in a hurry.
4 million, especially now with that other green coupe.
Wow.
Well, goddamn. I know anyways, people get the idea.
Yeah.
Oh, and the towing. The towing is phenomenal too. You get just like, so
rollback style.
Sam Ferrance there, our boy, videographer, he said he used the towing 31 times last year.
What?
Yeah, he says that, like, because it's like 100 miles per tow, but there's no limit. So he'd like get it towed 100 miles with the first truck, then call the second truck, call him again. And I guess when he called in, they like recognized or acknowledged, like, oh, you really take advantage of this service. Like, you've used it X amount of times.
He didn't have a VPN.
No, he didn't.
Shit. I really wish I could find that. You know, dude, maybe it's because we're looking at like the basic shit that we keep in the car. Cause I know like the actual policy documents that they email you that's like 80 pages long. I've seen it. Like, yeah, because I was doing one of these panics one night going like, God damn it, I better have that thing on there, right?
Yeah, you better increase that agreed value too.
Well, dude, this is the thing. So I've actually got the verts in here for 20.
That should be more too.
They had no problem putting 10 on the 79.
You got 10 on the 79, but 20 on the green car.
Hey, I said it on last pod. It was so good. Screen Puff Joe used it in a reel. I'm a fucking idiot, right?
Oh my God, that was actually funny.
Oh, dude, I was dying. I'm like, Joe never ceases to amaze me. Good night.
Oh, well,
What
shit,
an
man.
idiot.
We're bordering 3 hours here. We should probably shut her down.
Yeah, I got to pee like a pregnant woman right now too, so it's not a bad place to shut her down. Plus, I got to call Haggerty.
Yeah.
So, okay, yeah, let's wrap her, buddy. Ladies and gents, I guess going forward, we do have a little scrambling to do here. Hopefully, it doesn't upset anything on your guys' end. But like we said earlier, Chris is heading off to SEMA. We're hoping we can figure this all out. We'll do our best. But yeah, and again, Paul, if you're listening, sorry for fucking that all up. We should have been giving you way more condolences. Back-to-back wins at Foxtoberfest, that's nothing to sneer at. So, yeah, man, I guess maybe we'll leave her there, hey?
Yeah. I'm sure we can, because I'll be back on Friday, so we can do one of those last-minute ordeals, give a little debrief on SEMA and shit, and we'll be good.
We're getting pretty good at last-minute shit, too, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The true freestyle.
Yeah, it's true. Okay, thanks for listening, guys.
All right, till next time.